everybody. Welcome here to Pop Culture Philosophers. We're going to have a grand old time tonight because we are going to once again be excellent this week. Happy Bill and Ted Day, everybody. Today is the day that Bill and Ted Face the Music finally comes out. Not only a movie about a band that can save the world, but a movie that can literally save my personal world just for a little bit. I need some joy in my life. And right now, Bill and Ted is providing it for me. We're going to give everybody a week to watch Face the Music. Next week, we'll cover Face the Music. But tonight, we're all about Bill and Ted's Bogus Journey, the sequel that came out in 1991. With me tonight, I got good old Jam, our good friend Jelani. What's up, my man?
What's up? What's up? Party on, dude.
Party on. Glad to have you here. We also have Jumpin' Party, Jappin', Jupin', Joppin', Jay Strick. What's up, buddy?
Bogus.
Yes, you are bogus.
Well said. Speaking of bogus, we also got Bogus Brooks here. What's up, man?
Hey.
He's the Mario Micro Monster Machine. How you doing, man?
Sorry.
Brooks, just so you know, I'm trying to learn the map of Friday 13th, man. I'm ready.
Yeah.
I'm ready to do. It's going to take us all Horror Fest long, 1.5 months or whatever, but we're going to beat Friday 13th.
We'll be like 5 minutes.
Yeah.
No, we won't, bro. Anyway, tonight, everybody, we're talking about Bill and Ted's Bogus Journey. This movie came out in 1991, 100%, right? And it's obviously the sequel to 1989's Bill and Ted's Excellent Adventure, which we talked about last week. It's got Pete Hewitt is the director of this film, a different director. Of course, Keanu Reeves, Alex Winter reprising their roles as Theodore or Ted Theodore Logan and William S. Preston Esquire. Really like it. You also got William Sadler in this one as the Grim Reaper Death. Oh my goodness. I'm ready to talk about this. I freaking love Bill and Ted's Bogus Journey. I love Bill and Ted's Excellent Adventure. But even when I was a kid, it was Bogus Journey that made me a Bill and Ted fan. I love this film. I love death in this film. And I love that this movie does the exact something completely different from the first one. It would have been so easy for them to do another time travel type movie, right? In fact, Chris Matheson and Ed Solomon, the writers and creators of this franchise, they have said that initially Chris said that they had an idea, because don't forget, Chris Matheson, co-creator Bill and Ted, was on the show not too long ago. So you can
really?
Yeah, he really was.
First time I'm hearing this.
Yeah, I know, right? But he had said that initially they had come up with an idea that they would just have to pass another report in another class. And this one was going to be English, and somehow they were going to go into stories like Romeo and Juliet or something like that, right? Or Huckleberry Finn, right? They're going to go into those worlds. But they didn't want to do that. They wanted to do something so different. In 1989, Bill and Ted came out, and 2 years later, they want to do the sequel. And at this time, in the early 90s, we were getting over this whole sequel thing, you know, because in the 80s, everything had a sequel. Police Academy, Friday 13th, Nightmare on Elm Street. Like, it just, 48 Hours had another 48 hours. Like, it just kept Beverly Hills Cop, Rambo, Terminator. It was all like, well, Terminator came out a year later. Anyway, they wanted to do something completely different. That's what they did. They didn't do another time travel thing. They didn't do another thing connected to school or passing a class. They went completely different. Bill and Ted die. They go to hell. They face off against the Reaper. He joins up with them. They go to heaven. They grab a Martian, the smartest Martian in the world. Station. And they have evil robot Bill and Ted's. And then the dude, what's his name? Denomalos? Whatever, the villain. And that's funny. That's just Ed Solomon backwards. That's the writer, one of the writers. So nice. I love this movie. I love it.
The noob Cybot of the Bill and Ted universe.
Exactly, right?
That guy's in the second Lethal Weapon. He's diplomatic immunity guy.
Diplomatic immunity. Yeah, it's really funny. We'll get to him in a moment, but right now, just my overall thoughts are: I love this movie. It was what cemented me as a Bill and Ted fan. I'm sorry that we waited so long to get a sequel, but from what I hear, the sequel lives up to the hype and definitely worth the wait. And I'm very excited for it. But Bogus Journey, to me, right now, is the highlight of Bill and Ted for me. What about you, Jelani? What do you think about this movie overall?
Yeah, overall, man. Yeah, I love Bill and Ted's Excellent Adventure. It's a good time travel movie. It has its moments of levity and stuff, and it's always going to be a classic for me. But actually, I think Bogus Journey like beats that. It's something about it because I'm kind of like you. I saw this movie. I actually saw this in the theater. I didn't watch Bill and Ted's Excellent Adventure in the theater. I saw this one in the theater, and I loved it. Like, I love Death the most. I don't know why he tries. When Station is doing certain things, he's like one-upping Station. My butt is good. I've been working out. Stuff like this, little stuff like
and
that.
Reaping.
How Death is like. Yeah.
Reaping burns a lot of calories.
He's a
sore loser, man.
Yeah, he's a sore
loser.
He's so many things. He's like my favorite character in this movie. I know we're getting to that, but he really is. He embodies that, and he kind of steals the show in a lot of different ways in this movie. And I love the pacing of it. These are hour and a half long. Yeah. So you can get right through.
Power through them.
Yeah, you power through them like real fast. And I'm like, oh gosh. Yeah, I do like this one more. I like the soundtrack a little more. I like the music at the end more. I like it's just a lot more things in this film that just blew my mind. Like some of the graphics, some of the CG is like, yeah, it's like they did that on Windows. Like old Windows.
It's 1991.
It's 91, dude.
They were just working it, but you could tell like immediately that they didn't try that much. But
that's some good effects too, like the robot building practical
masks. Oh, the practical effects are amazing.
Practical effects are great. Yeah, I was just talking about the regular 3D backgrounds and stuff like that, like Heaven did as well, the computer stuff. Yeah, but it's great, man. I love this film. I'm just really a big fan of Bill and Ted. It's still positive, but it takes it up another level. It's just like, I don't know. And the only thing I would say that I would change is I really wish the girls from the first movie were in the second movie. Because I don't know, they were kind of props. I know.
I think they are in both, honestly.
But
they have more. I don't know. They have like equal amounts to do in both movies, don't they?
Yeah, they do.
Yeah.
Which isn't
they have a little bit more in this one.
Yeah,
it's a little bit more.
The only downside for me would be like the other downside would be like there's not enough Rufus.
But that could be argued the same in the first film, right?
Yeah, not enough Rufus.
It keeps that structure alive. Where he shows up
in there,
Yeah.
A little bit more.
Well,
there.
Technically, that's Rufus too, right? I guess so.
Right.
So, two things you mentioned on Jelani: structure and positivity. First of all, structure. They have different structures, but they're both an hour and a half cleanly. But this one, to me, has a better pace. It feels so much more dynamic and action-packed, and it's much more physical in a way. The other thing is the positivity. Yes. Bill and Ted
they're dead and they're positive.
Exactly.
You're dead. You're dead.
You're like, dude.
I love how they're dead, and it's like to them, they don't even care. Like they're like, well, we got to find a way to go back to save the babes, man. Like it doesn't even matter that they're dead.
And Bill's like, yeah, I'm dead now. So I mean, when I die, I'm gonna give you my Megadeth collection. Ted's like, we're dead, dude. He's like, well, there you are.
And he goes, thanks, dude.
Okay.
Speaking of giving away his Megadeth collection, Jay Strick, what do you think about this movie overall?
Man, I love these movies. I don't know, man. I think when I was a kid, I must have just been dissociated or always high because, like, I know I've seen these movies. A lot of these movies we've watched in the past 6 months. Has it been 6 months since we've been doing this? I don't know. It feels like that. But
it feels like 6 years.
Watching movies as an adult, I don't know. Like you understand things better. And so like watching Bogus Journey, I just feel like first of all, I like them both equally as much. It's hard for me to choose one over the other. But like Bogus Journey, there's a little more subtext, like y'all are saying. And like, dude, like the hell scene when like they're going through their like own little whole little
hells.
Personal hells, like that was creepy as hell, man.
You know that
like it was cool.
With Alex Winter.
Yeah, that's what Robbie was telling me. I was like, dude, that scene creeped me out, man. Yeah. And it's like it's just funny and like positivity oozes out of it. And like some of my favorite, like I love that scene where they're doing the seance.
Yes.
He's like, "Oh, you can totally see down her, dude. That's your mom, man."
And now it's Ted's mom.
Ted's mom. Yeah.
Missy.
She don't care, man. I think she had stuff to do with the teacher in the first movie too.
Yeah, it kind of seemed like that.
He was like, "Hi, Missy." Like he knew.
She also does that with the general. In this movie, she goes, "Nice to see you again, General Oates or whatever his name is, Colonel Oates or something. I think it's Colonel Oates, something like that." Real quick, let's get to the chat. We got Jim Mint Collectibles in the house. What's up, Jim? We just wrapped up a spoiler-filled review of 3 Jokers. I had so much fun with. You definitely got to check that out. We got Herminio in the building too, just dropping gems and Joker cards left and right.
Herminio, what's up, dude?
We got Eddie up in here. Herminio says, "What's up, Brooks?" All right. I guess the rest of us are scrubs, except for J-Strict because he wears that Knicks hat.
There's more. He said hi to me too.
What's up, Jelani?
Sean says, thing, right?
Sean says, excellent. What's up, Robbie? Party on. Thank you. Thank you for pointing me out, Sean. I appreciate that. What else we got here? Fable had said that he had just finished rewatching Bogus Journey 20 minutes ago. Oh, so it's time to start talking about it, man. We got Comic Crazy in the house. And also Lee D, our main man with the excellent $20 super chat. Thank you so much. That is most non-bogus. So we really do appreciate that.
Also not heinous.
Yes, non. I love that. Fable says, Bogus Journey turns the camp up and I love it. The shots are great. Really feels like they went on a journey. Mm-hmm. And once again, as Jesse pointed out, strange things are afoot at the Circle K. And I love that they went back to it. And Herminio's like, oh yeah. Sup, Robbie? What's up with our Yankees? That's what's up. Anyway, Brooks, what do you think about this movie overall?
I like this one a lot too. Kind of like Strickland. Like it's hard for me to say which one is better. Actually, it's like I watch Excellent Adventure, but like Excellent Adventure, that's the best one. Then I watch Bogus Journey, I'm like Bogus Journey is probably the best one. And I watch Excellent Adventure again, I'm like Excellent Adventure. It's like a vicious cycle, you know. But yeah, this movie is really great. I love the different direction they went with it, and the kind of the nonchalant way that Bill and Ted kind of deal with being dead. It's like, oh, we just got to get back, dude. It's amazing how far they get too. Like it's like apparently when you die, you just do whatever you want to, just wander around, run away from death.
I love it because obviously all the death stuff is a reference to the Seventh Seal, right? And which is also based on typical lore. What's that? The Ingrid Bergman film, which is a great silent film, but it's fucking long for a silent film. But it's really good. And the imagery is even there. Like when he first shows up and they're dead and they're in black and white. Like I love that touch that they're in black and white. I love it too, where he's like, dude, we're dead. No way. Yes way.
Yes way.
There's so many one-liners, dude. There's so many.
When they come across the evil Bill and Ted robots, and then he's like, we lied. We're totally going to kill you, dude. And he goes,
because we're programmed to. Yeah. You want to.
At the one moment, Bill goes, Bill, you're such a dick, Bill, or something like that.
I love it when he punches him. He's like, "Oh, they're metal, dude," and they all do the.
You totally killed us, you evil metal dickweeds.
Yeah, I love it. I love it. So I love Evil Bill and Ted too. Alex and Keanu nailed it once again. Of course, they know their characters and they performed them well, but they did so much extra with this movie with the Evil Bill and Ted characters. Let's talk about that. I freaking love it. They're so funny and they're so bad and they're so they're still Bill and Ted though.
Bill and Ted.
That's the weird thing about trying to kill cats for some reason.
Yeah. What the hell was that about?
Go after the cat. That's what dicks do. Dude. That's what dicks do. Speaking of that's what dicks do, Jelani, what did you think about Evil Bill and Ted, Alex and Keanu in the movie?
I love them, man. I did. Like everything that they did was just craven, evil nonsense. And they were just mischievous, and I guess that's how the Demopolis it created them to just cause havoc. But the problem is they were just as like dim-witted as Bill and Ted, so they're just doing just childish things the entire time. I love the fact they're trying to kill cats. I love the fact that they try to play basketball with their own heads. They're just, I was like, why are you doing that? Why? There's no point to doing that. Why are you trashing the apartment? And you said you want to leave this dump. You can just go somewhere else. And it was just little things where I was just like, oh God, they made no sense. And also, okay, I know we're going to talk about other things later, but I really want to bring this up. There's so many plot holes in these movies, like time related, to where did a normal timeline play out where none of this happened? And then the future happened, and then they decided to screw with time, or is it something else? Because they send these robots back in time, and it doesn't cause a shift or anything in the future because of this. Like, because after effects.
I'm not trying. Hold on. I can explain this. I can explain this real quick.
Oh God!
So all time and space exists all as one thing, and it's all together.
Why'd you have to do this?
That's why. No, I'm serious. I mean, guys, this is a bit. It's just a bit, but seriously, like that's what they're going with. Is the idea that Brooks? I mean, we've read a lot of time travel fiction. Sometimes they do that, where like because somebody immediately goes in the past, things start changing in the future or the present, right? Like Back to the Future, right?
Yeah.
But like Avengers Endgame said, that shit's wrong. Okay, the way physically time and space works is that it all exists all at once. Okay, so that's why at the end of the film, when Denomalos is like, "I'll just go and set up this gun," and then Ted even says, because Ted's the smart one, even though Bill's like the leader. I think Ted's kind of more intuitive, and he makes the point. He says, "No, dude, because only the ultimate victors are the ones who can go in time and set it up. So we set up the cage and the gun, right?
Yeah.
And it's the idea that they already do have like the future as like they've already done this. It's all exists. And I hope they come back to this idea in Face Music. But as far as time travel and those rules go, it all holds very true as far as what we know about current theoretical physics. But honestly, we don't really know. All right, go ahead.
He said in the beginning, like when the villain shows up, he's like, "You won't get away with it. Like you've already lost." He pretty much says that in the beginning of the movie.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Like even trying.
Jay Strick, what do you think about Evil Bill and Ted and Alex and Keanu? And because I know them personally, what do you think about their performance in this film as compared to the last one?
Freaking classic again, back to back classic. I mean, they upped the antes with Evil Bill and Ted, and the whole the beginning of them meeting each other, Bill and Ted and Evil Bill and Ted. It's like, oh, dude, we got to trust ourselves because like last time we did, right? And then they're evil and they're still like them, but they're just douchebags at the same time, And so it really works in the film. It's funny, man. Like and even when like they call the house and it's evil, it's like Evil Bill and Ted here. It's like what the
yeah, right. They
like that.
Yeah, it's like what?
And remember though, even from the beginning, Ted's like, and once again pointing out that he's the more intuitive one.
Yeah.
Right. He says like, I got a bad feeling about this.
Mm-hmm.
And he does, and it doesn't take them too long to realize. I mean, obviously they follow them into the desert, but they've been through this kind of shit before, right?
Right.
So, but yeah, they absolutely nail it. They just nail it.
Yeah.
Speaking of nailing it, Brooks is a contestant on Nailed It season 6, coming out in 2023.
Season 69.
69, dude. Brooks, what do you think about Alex and Keanu, Bill and Ted in this movie, but specifically Evil Bill and Ted?
I like the Evil Bill and Ted a lot, actually. And I love that the first thing they do, like after meeting their, real counterparts, is they basically take their places in the room. Like they don't just be like, "Hey, let's go." They actually go and they plop down on the couch and start like eating the snacks that they were eating.
Yeah.
Like they're already like replacing them before they even finish them off. And they're like just they do still have that kind of Bill and Ted kind of innocent quality, but they're like they have no conscience, so they just like do whatever they want to, and they're assholes.
Yeah.
Exactly.
And that pulling the face off scene, man, I'm still like,
Oh yeah, it's like the beginning of the movie too.
Nightmares after watching that.
Yeah, no
It's so
kidding. It's
creepy.
actually really creepy, man.
Yeah.
It's like
Teeth,
the end,
they got the teeth, man. It's like
it's like the end of
Yeah.
Superman 3 creepy, man. It's like pretty,
Oh.
pretty bad.
Nice.
Oh, I still have
It's
problems
good.
watching the movie.
There's
Yeah.
a lot of
understood
this
that.
movie that's creepy. Like that damn rabbit's creepy. And what's crazy is that in the third act, they originally had this giant, like when they're in the van trying to get to the show, the Battle of the Bands, right? And they got stationed in there building the robots, and Death's in there as well. They're being chased in the original script. They're being chased. Well, the script changed a lot of times, especially in the third act, but they actually were shooting stuff where the Easter Bunny, Grandma Billy, Billy Grandma, and the Colonel Oates were like chasing them, and the bunny was like this 10-foot monstrosity type thing, like right out of the Twilight Zone movie. And you can find images of some of the footage that they shot or the puppet that they made, and it's freaking scary,
Nice.
dude. It's
Nice.
super scary.
Yeah.
Hey,
I like
But-
how hell isn't like it, for Bill and Ted. The worst thing that could happen to them is they stole Ted steals candy from Deacon, and like he's chased by an Easter bunny. And
Well,
then,
it's about a shame there, you know. And,
Yeah.
and when we had Chris on the show, and don't forget Chris Matheson, co-creator of the Bill and Ted franchise and writer of the Bill and Ted franchise, was on the show recently, and he said that
when?
he said that the initial gist, and the movie was originally called Bill and Ted Go to Hell, and the initial gist is they go to hell, but they think it's awesome. They're like, yeah, rock on, like, I love it. They follow to hell, and I love that scene where they're like falling and they're screaming, and then they stop, and they're like, this is a long fall.
yeah,
Do you want to play 20 questions?
a mineral.
And then they,
Yeah,
I love
dude.
it. Hey,
What do you
devil
think?
dude, just give the sign of the
Be like,
devil,
how do
bro.
we get his attention?
I love it. Let's take a look at the chat real quick. Comics Miss Explain. What's up, my homie? He says, I like the hell sequences. Really good German expressionism stuff. Absolutely. The set design is amazing in those.
Yeah.
And we got Mikey with the super chat.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. He says, I know I'm wrong, but Bogus is weirder and better. I don't think you're wrong. I think I agree with you. Jesse says, did Wayne and Garth copy Bill and Ted? Jelani, what do you think?
I don't know. I mean, they're different kinds of lovable dimwits. They're on two different. I think they're just on two different
Wayne and
levels.
Garth are a little older too.
Yeah, Wayne and Garth
They're
are
like
older.
early
They're like
20s.
burnout. Yeah,
Still teenagers.
But I definitely think the success of Bill and Ted led to Wayne's World being
Yeah,
able to be
it
made
could.
into a movie. Fable said, I loved Evil Bill and Ted. Herminio
Yeah.
with the Joker cards. Fable, yes, I totally loogied on that good dead me. I love it. There's from the moment I put on the shades right there. Mikey says Brooks got to brace himself. Herminio says, I think I saw the alien beside Robbie's smile when he put the shades on. You know Pablo did. He's always down for that. Yeah, you know it. Gives me Tim Burton's vibes. Reminds me of Big Adventure and Beetlejuice at times. Absolutely.
I can
That
see
expressionism and the way it's done. A lot of that, especially, I love the Seventh Seal stuff, right?
Mhm.
yeah.
Let's talk about William Sadler as Death. And this is, he makes this movie. He starts off so dead on, so committed. He's Death, right? And he's doing it so well. So well. You must come with me. And he's doing this Czechoslovakian accent, right?
Nobody has ever won.
Yeah, and it works. And then I love how they they Melvin him and they get away.
Yeah. That's it. He doesn't try to stop him.
Sorry.
He doesn't show up again.
Yeah,
Yeah.
they get away from Death that way, but they obviously need his help because they got to beat him in a game. And dude, there's not a sequence in a movie to me that's as funny as them playing. And my favorite moment in this entire movie is, "You have sunk my battleship."
My
What?
battleship.
He's amazing. The accent's amazing. The way he performs.
Yeah.
He's also the British guy with his family towards the
Yeah.
end of the film. He's the villain in Die Hard 2.
Yep.
Yeah, don't forget about that.
Oh,
And
yeah.
An absolutely fantastic actor. Being able to really do something different is one of the reasons why he took the role. And he just nailed it. He just committed to it. And I love him. What do you think about Death in this film, Jelani?
Yeah, dude, I already said it before. He's my favorite character in this movie. I don't know what it is about just Death, just punking out. And tell me something. All this time, eons of people playing games with death, and he can't beat two guys. Like he
Bill and
can't.
Ted, man.
Like proof that Bill and Ted are the chosen ones because fate like favors them in the game against death.
You got it.
That makes wow.
Also, the idea if in tradition, it's typically in modern tradition, it's chess that death will play you in.
Mhm.
You have to beat death in chess,
Right.
and it's been older games too, but like they're usually a very intellectual, highbrow type game, and they choose Battleship, electronic football,
Twister.
Highbrow?
Yeah, they're ruining.
So to me, these are games that Death hasn't played.
Right.
Yeah, he's never played these games. He's never been good at this football game either. He's so, I don't know. He's to me the most relatable character in the movie because he's their point of view for some parts. I just feel he's just that person. He's just there.
Kind of Billy the Kid in this
do. Yeah, he is Billy the Kid. Yeah, that's what I can say. Yeah, he's okay with it. He's okay. He's just down, and he's done killing people apparently because killing them, but he's not taking people to their death.
Nobody died during Bill and Ted's Bogus Journey. Or they died, but they're just laying around like as ghosts, black and white ghosts, being like, "What? What's going on? What's going on?" Oh, I love it. I love his journey from the serious character that's anchored to classic cinema, and he winds up becoming this like fame obsessed rapper.
Yeah.
You may be a king or a little street sweeper, but sooner or later you dance with the Reaper. And he loves it.
Yeah.
He's like this is his moment. I love also when he goes to heaven and then he has to wear and he has to do no, you don't know me. And then when they talk to God, he goes, I am sorry about this. And like it just cracks me freaking up.
Yeah.
What's that?
They Melvined me.
Yeah, they Melvin me.
Yeah, they Melvined you. What do you think about Death in this film, Jay Strick?
Oh man, I love him. I don't think anyone else could do the role perfectly as he did, and I'm glad that he's in the Face of Music. Right? He's in Face of Music, right?
Yeah, he's in Face of Music.
Okay.
Yes,
Y'all, I was about to cry. I was really like, they recasted him. No.
This is something about last week that he was supposed to be in. That he wasn't supposed to be in the original script, but they found out he wanted to do it, and they added him in the script or into the story. So that's awesome. I think that's great.
Yeah, he's hilarious, man.
Yeah.
It's like, Ted, don't fear the Reaper. I heard that.
Yeah.
I heard that. Brooks, what do you think about Death in this film?
Yeah, he's all right.
Funny guy.
Yeah, I think that's definitely in the last half of the movie becomes like
What?
Probably the most comical part, I think. Like he's just like
I'm sorry. This just happened. I'm sorry. I
was about to get. I was going to let Brooks say.
Sorry, Brooks. I'm sorry, Brooks. Oh my God.
I lost my train of thought now.
I'm sorry, dude.
All right, I verified this. Chadwick Boseman just passed away, man.
Black Panther's dead.
What?
Chadwick Boseman just passed away. Seriously, I just looked it up. That's a real thing.
Oh, that's nuts.
Y'all are
I didn't
trolling.
know he had cancer.
Oh my God. He had colon cancer,
man.
He had a 4-year fight with it. Seriously, Chadwick Boseman just passed away.
Oh my God.
On Jackie Robinson Day, man.
What the hell, man?
At 42 years of age, which Jackie Robinson was issued, his number was 42. Wow, man.
Oh,
bruh.
Oh, this is awful.
Man,
Fuck 2020, man. What the hell?
This is a horrible year, man. I want no part of this year.
I got the fucking go behind me, man. What the
God
hell?
damn, dude.
Man. How am I gonna find this out on a live stream?
That sucks.
We need a moment of silence here.
Yeah.
This is not cool.
No shit.
Dude, that's crazy because like he just looks so like even in the movie, like he's fucking jacked. Like he's ripped.
Awesome.
I didn't even know anything was going negative with it, but I just verified. I mean, Washington Post is reporting it. Like, oh my god.
I googled it.
This is legit.
Damn. Well, I hate to interrupt the fucking review, but like, we got to talk about this, man. Like, that really sucks. What are they going to do? Like, I mean, I hate to be like, first of all, major thoughts to his family, you know, and what they're dealing with now. What a great actor and what a short-lived fucking career.
Exactly.
2 performances as Black Panther, or 3, I guess, technically.
Yeah.
Oh
Civil
man,
War.
dude, what are they gonna do?
Weird.
I mean, he had a big role in the next phase too.
Well, they will
probably
recast him. Marvel's not going to be shying from that. They've recasted before Hulk. Who else? War Machine.
War Machine.
But damn, that sucks. That's a shock. That's a big shock, man.
That's terrible.
It says he was 43, so there you go.
Gosh, yeah, he did Get On Up, so he played James Brown too.
He sure did.
God damn. He had such a bright future too, man. Like he was damn.
That was the last movie I saw when COVID happened, was that 21 Bridges movie. He was like a detective. Mm-hmm. It's dope. It's dope as hell.
God, he was so good as Black Panther. I can't.
Oh, I know. I literally. That is one of my favorite Marvel movies. 100%.
That is freaking terrible.
Damn,
I don't even know what to do.
Fuck this year. Fuck 2020. Yeah,
it is
the really only good thing we get out of this year is a new Bill and Ted movie, motherfucker. That's all we're getting. God damn.
I thought they were trolling.
Yeah. I checked on it while we were talking, but I wanted to.
That was your reaction when I was talking about the death guy, because I was like, he's not dead, is he, or something? Because I was like, I want him to be in the next movie. It sucks.
Jesus Christ. We got some people in the chat. Let's talk about it. Fable said, what? And a lot of people were giving us this information. Just,
wow,
dude.
This is amazing. This is, I mean, I don't know what, I don't even know how to begin to say how sad this is. It's just too much at once, man. We get too much at once. And not in the middle of a live stream. You can't die, Chadwick was in the middle of a live stream.
Black Panther was one of my favorite.
Yeah.
It really was.
It's in my top 5 for sure.
Yeah.
Amazing. Well, you got to, not just like, obviously, like it was a quality film, but like the implications of like what it stood for, like Black culture and everything. You know what I'm saying? Like it's everything. You know what I'm saying? Like
it's everything.
It's truly.
You're literally you're getting like honest fucking true reaction, man. I can't fucking believe
I'm it's like a pussy.
Like I didn't even know he was battling colon cancer. Apparently for the last 4 years he was.
Yeah.
And I didn't know it had taken a turn for the worse or anything, but who knows, especially with everything that's going on. Like, Jesus Christ.
This makes no sense, man.
This is a big blow because his character that he helped create with the Black Panther, I mean, he didn't create Black Panther, but he helped create it for so many people out there.
Right.
This has got to be a big blow to just the comic book and movie community, the Black community. This sucks, man. This fucking sucks. Fuck this year.
Yeah.
God damn.
Sorry. This is wow. I'm kind of speechless.
Yeah, no shit. Guys, we're gonna take a brief moment. We're gonna take a break real quick. We'll be right back. Well, obviously, we hate to hear about the passing of anybody, especially someone who has portrayed one of the characters near and dear to our heart. However, the show must go on, so I do want to acknowledge, as we did with this moment of silence, even though I could hear somebody's toilet flushing.
Ew.
We definitely want to pay our respects to Chadwick Boseman, his family. He did amazing work, and it really, really sucks. But we're going to continue on with our movie review, and then in the after show, speak a little bit more on it. So, damn, it's kind of a weird thing to try to transition back into this positive-ass movie that we love, but we got to do it, and we're near the end anyway. We were ironically talking about the character, death. Jesus.
Yeah. How we love death.
All right, let's talk about the villain in the film. The ultimate villain, of course, is, what's his name? His Denomalos. Joss Ackland, who was the villain in Lethal Weapon 2, as you portrayed. What an interesting thing to know about him is this. I have like a really nice, cool edition of this film, and they got this like documentary on it. I believe it was from Shout Factory, and so they had this whole thing, and they're interviewing Alex Winder and Keanu Reeves, and Alex tells Keanu, "You know he didn't like us, right?" And he's like, "Are you serious?" He's like, "No, he couldn't stand us. He thought we were idiots." And he goes, "I think he was trying to be a little method, but apparently, like, okay, so like whatever you know about filmmaking, they film like each shot separately, right? And so usually you don't have to be there if it's just the other person that's talking to you, and they can put something else out there for the eye line. And he would never show up for their eye line shots. But they made a point to always show up to his eye line shots to be like, "Hey, buddy, don't worry, we're here. We know we wrapped like Alex Winter said. I know we wrapped like 3 hours ago, but we're here to provide your eye line, right?" And really adds to that. Like when it feels like it's very real when he's like, "I hate them. They're idiots." What do you think about him?
Yeah. He is. Yeah, he's a butt white, man. I refuse to like him. I don't like him in any of his films. He's just a mean guy, and he plays it well. But in this film, he is like particularly mean. Like he does just weird stuff. Like his plan probably would have succeeded if he made competent Bill and Ted's. Like
there's no such thing, dude.
That's right. But I mean, I know he wanted to make copies, but he needed to make them like serious for him to win. But I love how this movie is. I love how the villain is just a dick who gets his comeuppance. It was just it was worth it. And he gets straight up arrested at the end. Just arrested.
And then
he marries Missy. I'm like, why did he get arrested again? Because he threatened the world, but like everyone saw
having like a futuristic laser weapon in the middle of like a Battle of the Bands type thing. You know,
that sounds fair. And he does it like he uses that weapon, and like he's the reason they're famous. So
it's like a Greek tragedy, right? And trying to prevent what he doesn't want to happen, Bill and Ted becoming like the figures of civilization. Because they get that weirdly weird looking statue of them. You know, it's so freaking weird. But
from somebody from Idiocracy.
He's so earnest in his performance, but he does cause it to happen. Yeah. He's so earnest. I love it. He's like, "I'm Denomalos." And I love the light that he has on his collar that shines on his face. I love it. Speaking of lights that shine on your face, Jay Strick, what do you think about Denomalos in this film?
Yeah, he's a goober, man. Like
he's a goofy goober.
He's just a goober. Yeah, honestly, he's not really in the film that much, besides the beginning and the end, right?
Yeah, he's in there like little bits and pieces when he contacts the evil Bill.
That's true.
He's in there more than George Carlin.
That's true. A lot more.
You're not wrong.
That's something about him.
As far as villains go, I guess I felt like it was more focused on evil Bill and Ted, but also my train of thought is kind of like somewhere else right now. So
it's just a device in the plot.
Yeah.
You know, it's just a reason, but then you get one of the best villainous actors out there to do it, and it works. He's got a little bit to do, and apparently, I don't know if you were stepped out, but apparently the actor legitimately did not like Keanu Reeves and Alex Winter. Like, thought they were idiots. Would not show up. Have to be there. Speaking of not showing up if he doesn't have to be there, Brooks, what do you think about the villain in this piece? What do you think about old Joss Ackland?
I like him because he's like the antithesis of Bill and Ted. He's the adult, you know. Like he hates the this and he just hates everything about the world that he lives in. And like I love how it's like in the beginning when he talks to Rufus, he's like my old teacher. And you're like, oh, he must have been some like really smart dude.
My
like,
favorite pupil.
Rufus is like, oh, that's just my gym teacher.
My old gym teacher. I love that.
He's just some push-up moron, really, when it comes down to it.
Yeah, he does represent that authority, and that authority is there in the first one, but like, like the I can't remember his name. He was a football player, but the guy who played the history teacher in Excellent Adventure. You get the idea of like legitimate disappointment and care from him. Yeah. But in this one, you get that more Principal Rooney type bullshit, Yeah. And it definitely kind of gets into that. And I think that he does a great job of bringing that in. And all it is a device to set off this journey that is most bogus, but it works. And it works as a plot device, and it's super, super cool. Real quick, Missy, she's all of a sudden new agey, and I love that. She's I hate to say this, she's flaky. She just goes to the next cool fad, and you get that from her character. And one of my favorite moments in this film is the seance, and she legitimately sends them to hell and banishes the ghosts, right? She's their downfall.
She just has a book in the stack of books. She just has a demon
book of evil,
banishing book.
And apparently the magic words that she's saying is Bill and Ted Save the World backwards, which is really interesting. Plus, Ed Solomon and Chris Matheson. Chris Matheson, by the way, was on our show, co-creator and co-writer of the Bill and Ted franchise. Yeah, him and Ed Solomon, the writers and creators of this stuff, they're in that. They're the two dudes in that scene. The one that's like Ann Gable, and the other one's like, or Anne Boleyn, and the other one's like Clark Gable. That's Chris. And it's so freaking funny to me. And I love that she legitimately finds like a real spell to like send these asses back to hell, man. What do you think about Missy and that scene, Jelani?
I love Missy, man. I told you I like Missy from the last movie. She is kind of flaky. She's off, man, but she's on it when she needs to expel demons. Like she knew this was gonna happen. Like she's like, I've seen this. I think I'm gonna handle it.
Before Buffy, not many people.
Yeah, man. She just straight kills it, man. And I liked her character. I like how she is flaky to the point where she's jumping from person to person. That's all she does. That's all she's good for.
I wonder if they address that in Face of Music. And I love too that one scene when you first find out she's with Ted's dad now.
In this movie.
Yeah, when you find out that she's with Ted's dad now, you see Bill's dad sitting there just crying, looking terrible, eating Twinkies at that party. The 521st birthday.
I saw him like, what? Wait a minute, wasn't she with the other dad? And then it's like he just explained, like, oh, dude,
she divorced
your dad, dude.
Speaking of jumping from dad to dad, Jay Strick, what do you think about this Missy in the film? And the seance scene in general, like, and Chris and Ed. Chris is a friend of the show.
Is it really?
Yeah, he was on our show. Yeah,
really?
Yeah, son of Richard Matheson.
Wow.
Yeah, Missy's funny. Missy's funny, man. Like, even in I don't know if y'all just said this or not. I'm kind of spaced out, but the clips at the end, like she divorces Ted's dad and ends up with I'm just like, bruh. The seance scene is hilarious because, like, I mean, you get the sense with Missy even from the first one, like she just kind of gets around because, like, who's she? Like, his dad's not there. Who's she with? Just like a bunch of random people at the house and seance. I don't know. Was it like an orgy going on or something? Like, I don't know.
I don't think she had anything to worry about for most of those dudes.
Yeah.
They seemed on the safe side.
She likes bad boys.
Anne Boleyn.
Clark Gable.
I love it too, man. They like brought like Ed and Chris have.
I choose Ty Cobb.
Yeah, I love it. I love it. Like, randomly, and I choose Ty Cobb.
Ty Cobb.
What? Ty Cobb?
Why would you get Ty Cobb?
That racist ass,
Yeah.
fucking dirty ass player. One of the
Exactly.
greatest hitters in baseball history, but racist as fuck
Yep.
and dirty as fuck.
Dirty. Yeah.
Still a great movie though with Tommy Lee Jones.
Yeah, I remember that movie.
Yeah, really good movie. Really good movie. A really interesting figure, I guess you can say that. Speaking of interesting figures, Brooks, what do you think about Miss C in this film?
Well, I mean, Missy's just kind of one of those. She's like a background gag, really, more than anything. And like she does pop up here and there, but mostly her gag is the whole mate swap thing. Pretty much, kind of. It's like she's here, and then all of a sudden she's with the other dad, and she has kind of this weird relationship. Like when she's ever she's introduced to a male character, it seems like there's some kind of familiarity there.
Yeah. Look, I know you.
I like the new age spin on her though, because that would make sense, like given the time period. There's a lot of people, like especially like in this is set in
91.
Middle America, right?
Yeah.
It's in San Dimas, California, man.
Yeah, it's San Dimas, California.
California. I thought it was California, but I wasn't sure if it was like. Couldn't remember if it was like a Middle America town, but
San Dimas.
Yeah, and that new age stuff was apparently big over there in Hollywood.
Yeah. Hollyweird. One thing I do want to also mention, since you said something about the dads, Hal Landon Jr. plays Captain Logan, Ted's dad, and he does a great job in the first one, right? But in this one, he even gets the super scene where he gets to do Ted, and he does so well. He's like, bro, I totally possessed my dad. Yeah, right. I love it, man. Jelani, what do you think about that scene?
It's pretty cool, man. I don't know. There's just so much going on, and I don't know. I'm sorry. Yeah, I'm out of it right now. So.
Good, Brooks. What do you think about that scene?
Which scene?
When the Ted's dad's possessed by Ted.
Yeah, that's one of my favorites, especially when Bill jumps into the other dude. This is like, I totally believe you, dude.
Yeah. He pops up a lot.
They're buying this, dude.
And I love how like the room, like the whole room thinks about it for a minute. Like
the cover comes in there like, later, dude, or something like that.
Yeah. It's just normal. It's just whatever. It's whatever. And then they leave their bodies. And when they leave their bodies, they're just like, all right. Sergeant.
Good morning.
Morning.
Real fun.
Yeah.
Let's here's one more thing. I do want to talk about Station before we get into the ratings and talk about the music a little bit. Station. I love Station. So much. I do want to point out that one of the people who played Station was Tony Cox, the guy from Friday and Bad Santa.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
He passed away recently, didn't he?
Yeah, I think he did, didn't he?
Yeah.
Did he? Anyway, he was one of the Stations. And then they did the scene when they take off in the van and they told Alex Winter to just like floor it. And that's when you see Death like hit his head on the glass. And he literally quit the movie after that. And they had to replace him.
Why did he quit the movie?
Yeah, he quit the movie because it was apparently a very uncomfortable costume to be in. And the situation was not the best. But I love Station. Some people think that's a flaw in the movie. The idea that Station's unnecessary. Chris Matheson's actually even said, friend of the show, he's even said that that was a mistake. It should have been Bill and Ted making it. And I'm like, I don't agree with that because it gave them the reason to go to heaven, to tie up the heaven and hell thing. Mm-hmm. I liked that. And that ties into some of Chris's thematic material that he's doing in his book work right now, in which he's tackling kind of like some of his issues with religion. And I think it's great stuff. And definitely check out that conversation I had with Chris Matheson on the channel, because we really get deep into that. And so I really like that. And I like, because Bill and Ted could have made these robots. And I also love that moment when they go to get all these random parts from the hardware store and Death sees the dude smoking a cigarette, who's played by that's the director. Yeah. And he's like, see you real soon. But I love Station. I love the giant Martian ass crack. What do you think about it, Jelani?
Yes, man. Station is the bomb. Station S2 was great. Station S1 is great because Station S1 creates the robots, and the robots are the absolute coolest thing in the movie. Like the fact that they're good Bill and Ted, and they're remote controlled, but somehow they still move around without them.
Yeah, and they're break dancers that played those roles. That's why they're doing like the cool like movements.
Cool movements. Yeah. Yeah, I love the robot thing about him. But Station is the reason, like, how he can make one word make all the sense. Kind of like just everything about them playing charades at the beginning, and you don't expect it. Because when I first saw this movie, I didn't expect them to be together. Like, I didn't know that they would be the smartest beings in the universe. But it's so weird, man, that they made this character, and it works out so well.
Mike really did.
I like Station.
Mike is in the house. He goes, "Why does Jim Martin of Faith No More yell Station at the beginning of the movie?"
There's actually a couple of times that they use the word
Station. He's not the only one, and it ties into the idea. It ties into the idea that that time and space, it all exists all at once, and so they already know the outcome of this. Like Bill and Ted win because Station is just now something you say to be like excellent or awesome. Yeah. Station, and I love too at the very beginning when George Carlin, who's Rufus, is in this movie a little bit, but like when he's bringing those figures from history to talk to him, and one of them is the guy from Faith No More. Yeah, I love it. Sir James Martin or whatever they call him. Like, it's absolutely
real shithead.
Yeah.
Yeah, right. Yeah. And he's teaching Bach something. He's like telling him, like, oh, it's like this. It's just same. It's just like this. And Bach's like, oh, yes, I really like it. What do you think about Station, Jay Strick? You got thoughts on him?
Nah, pass on me. I don't know.
What about you, Brooks? Station.
I like Station, and well, I like the robots probably more than anything. Like Station is cool, but the robots he makes, those are like, I just love the aesthetic. They look kind of like, they're not like evil robot Bill and Ted where it looks exactly like them. They're like actually robots that are kind of made in their image instead of being, like replacements. I love the evil ones, like their response to them. You made good robot versions of us? Well played, Bill and Ted. But Station is cool too. Yeah.
Also, I do want to point out that the voice of Satan, the Easter Bunny, and Station is Frank Welker, who was the voice of Megatron.
Right. That is right.
Super cool. And we got to talk real quick, George Carlin. It sucks that he's passed away, like obviously other people recently. Great role in the film, a little bit. I love the black light effects that they use for the future, and they're all wearing these weird foam costumes.
The shoes are like so big, it's like you can tell people have trouble walking in them.
They can't walk in them because it's just so obnoxious to wear, right? But he's great in the film too. He's got a small role in this film, and it sucks that he's not going to be able to be in 3, but Chris, friend of the show, said that his presence is definitely felt. And Pam Grier, of course, is in the movie too, and that's really, really cool. Big fan of the old school stuff. Coffee, Foxy Brown, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, Foxy Brown, Coffee, and then of course Jackie Brown. And that's right. What an amazing performance for her in the little bit. I love when she's like, "Well, you do work for Pretzels and Cheese, so I'm going to let you into the Battle of the Bands."
That's all you need.
Speaking of the Battle of the Bands, let's talk about the music. This movie's got great music in it, just like the first one. I love every single song in the soundtrack. I know Jay Strick does. It ends with that Kiss song. Holy crap, I love that song, and it's so appropriate for the movie. But one thing I do want to point out is the Primus song. I love it, and Primus is in the movie, man. What do you think about the music in this film, Jelani?
I love the music in this film, man. I think it is better than the first one. It has, I don't know. The first one actually, the songs went with the movie very well, but this one like blows it out of the water for some reason. And I love the ending song. I love that ending song. I do. That rock and roll song is awesome.
I gave rock and roll to you. Rock and roll to you. Yeah, great,
and,
man.
Like you can, so much so I thought it was in the first movie. It was that good. And so it was.
You did.
Yeah, I did. So I thought, this one, I think this movie like blows out of the water for its music. I mean, I didn't listen to the whole soundtrack the whole time like you guys did. I'm pretty sure, but I enjoyed it. I enjoyed it a lot.
Me and Jay Strick just listened to it again this week. Jay Strick, what do you think about the music?
Love it, man. I got it on repeat right now. Excellent Adventure soundtrack and Bogus Journey. It's just so good. And like you said, the last song is just want to put your phone in the air and wave it with the lighters in the air.
Oh, I love how too they show up at the end and Bill's got that long ass beard and Ted's like got that little and Ted's got that little fucking mustache and the little soul patch.
Babies.
And it's Bill and Ted, right? And we get to meet them more fully and Face the Music. Speaking of Face the Music, Brooks has had to face the music many times. What did it feel like when you faced the music in Bogus Journey?
A good question, sir. Yeah, like this movie is a ton of fun. Like, and it's just so good and so funny. Like it's the, it keeps the spirit of the first movie, but it does something new with it. And it's like it's just its own thing. It's not like a retread like Home Alone 2 or something like that, where what they did with a lot of sequels back then is it's like, let's play it safe. Just have kind of a similar thing going. Yeah, this movie, like it keeps Bill and Ted, and it gives them a new thing to do. It's like it's not an excellent adventure this time; it's a bogus journey. It's like they hit the low point, being dead, and they have to come back and revive themselves, like the majestic phoenix rising from the ashes.
Oh yes,
Such as Bill and Ted.
Let's talk about the music real quick. Slaughter played Shout It Out. It says, plays while the evil Bill and Ted continue to wreck their human counterparts' apartment right before they get another message from Denomalos. And then Battle Stations by Winger, right? I love this. And it says it's played as Station is building the robot. So you hear Battle Stations. Like you hear it over and over. And of course, God Gave Rock and Roll to You. Actually, God Gave Rock and Roll to You 2. That's the one from Kiss in this one. We got Richie Kotzen doing Dream of a New Day. Steve Vai, lots of Steve Vai in this movie, including the Reaper rap, right? And all that stuff. And that's really cool. We got Faith No More, of course, in the film. You got Megadeth. You got Primus. That's Tommy the Cat that they're performing in that one. Love on Ice, King's Ice. And Poison gets a little bit of a reference when they go to heaven and they go, every rose has its thorn.
Just like every night has its dawn.
Just like every cowboy sings a sad song. And then Death goes, every rose has its thorn. I love it. So let's get to the ratings. Let's get to the ratings here. Out of 5 possible you digs, what do you give Bill and Ted's Bogus Journey? And you out there in the chat, let us know as well. What do you give it, Jelani?
All right. Well, I said it was better than Bill and Ted's Excellent Adventure. So I'm giving it 5 you digs.
5 you digs. Perfect score.
5 you digs because it's nostalgia for me. It's the one I remember the most. Death steals the show. It's great music. It's Bill and Ted at their like we said before, even though they're dead, they're still trying to do good and they're still upbeat and they're aloof to what their situation is. And I love that about this film. It's great. I'll watch it again. I'll watch Bill and Ted Excellent Adventure again. I'll probably watch Face the Music again if once I see it. But it's so clean. I give it a 5.
5 you digs, a perfect score from Jelani because it wasn't too scary.
No, it's not too scary. No.
What about you, Jay Strick? Out of 5 possible you digs, what do you give Bill and Ted's Bogus Journey?
Yeah, like I said earlier, it's hard for me to pick which one I would like more. So I'm just gonna give them both 5s because they both deserve it to me. Soundtrack is perfect. The Evil Bill and Ted bit is classic. Death is amazing. Going to hell was hilarious. Going to heaven. See you later, God. Keep doing the good work.
Yeah, right. I just want you to know that we really love the earth. We appreciate it.
They do their introduction like, I am Ted Theodore Logan. I am Bill S. Preston.
And we are Wild
Stallions. Yeah, they're nuts, man.
Man, I think after obviously losing Chadwick Boseman tonight, I think watching Bill and Ted tomorrow will be surely needed. So I'm excited to watch just the positivity
version.
Yeah, and this classicness that Bill and Ted movies bring. So
absolutely. Speaking of classicness, Brooks, you ooze non-classicness. What do you think about Bill and Ted? What do you rate it out of 5, you digs? Bogus Journey, buddy.
3 because it made me laugh. I'm just kidding. I give it a 5. It's like, yes. I think it's equal to the first movie. Like I could watch. I want vicious cycle. Like which one is better? It's like Excellent Adventure. No, Bogus Journey, man. But yeah, like this movie's a classic. I think both of these movies are classic for a reason, and they've had the staying power because they have such a really good message to them. I love them.
So I know that last week, Brooks, you gave Excellent Adventure a 5, right?
I did.
And so did Jay Strick. And you both gave Bogus Journey a 5. And Jelani gave Excellent Adventure a 4.5 and Bogus Journey a 5. And I'm right there with Jelani and saying that this one I give a 5. 5 you digs. Because they really amped it up. They did something completely different. And most sequels wouldn't have the balls to do that.
Right.
You get what I'm saying?
True. Very true.
Anybody else would have just made another copy of the time travel school report,
a little bit.
And that was their original idea. But Chris and Ed had the balls to be like, no, we want to do something different, and they did something different. And I think the pacing is better. You add in William Sadler as Death, bruh, come on, and you end it with a Kiss song.
Yeah,
it's 5 you digs. It's a perfect damn movie. I love it. I love it more than the first one, just slightly. They're both excellent movies. They're both non-bogus movies and most non-heinous. They are absolutely fantastic. So out there in the chat, we got Mike, the voice Matthews, member of the Excitable PCP crew. He says 4.5 you digs. Arminio says 5 you digs. I had so much fun watching both movies. So did we. Yeah. Mikey says it's a 5 out of 5, ironically dealing with death. Absolutely, 100%. Sam Fett says 4.5 you digs for the movie, -1 million for the terrible news tonight. We are right there with you.
Yeah.
Fable says 5 you digs. Everything was stepped up from the first movie. Station. This guy's a major dick, man. He goes, yes, I agree with Brooks. Both movies. Love them both so much. So there you go. That's our review. A perfect score here at PCP because Mike's not on video tonight. So therefore, that means 5, 5, 5, 5 for an average of 5. Most triumphant for Bill and Ted. And we are super pumped for Face the Music. It's out right now. I hope you've already watched it. We haven't. We're watching it tomorrow night. We'll be talking about it next week, Friday night, 9 p.m. Join us. Full spoilery live movie review and discussion on Bill and Ted Face the Music. We're giving you a whole week to watch it. So join us for that. And then the week after that, y'all, it's Horror Fest. And we're starting with Lost Boys. We are so excited. We're going to continue the conversation afterwards. We definitely got a lot to speak about tonight and a little bit of show and tell. We will be right back after a short intermission. Thanks for rocking with us. And be excellent to each other. And keep coming back. Jay Strick's like, I'm out. No, I'm back. No, I'm out. Yeah, no, I'm out. Yeah, what's going on? What's going on? What's going on?
No, I'm here.
Looks like
Womp,
it's just-
womp. I'm back, but you can't see me. Ha ha.
You won't show your face.
Ha ha. I'll
No.
never show my face. Ha ha.
Hiding
Oh,
behind
boy.
your picture of yourself.
Yeah, it's an awesome picture too. Cause I'm awesome. Ha ha. All right, I'm back. All right. I'm bored. I'm bored of doing that.
Finally, come out and face me.
And you shall be thwarted, young Brooks. Oh, man. That was a fun break. Yay. I'm still bummed out.
Yeah.
Yeah, me too, man. We've never had news like that break during the fucking live stream, man.
Yeah. Very, very, very tragic.
We were like, you just see, I almost don't want to revisit it, but I'm sure like on the replay or whatever, you can see this going from like positive elateness to just like devastation. I don't think
my whole train of thought just got derailed. I was like, okay, like, oh, well,
I broke you up, man. I'm sorry. I read it and I was like, what?
well, no,
Yeah,
I'm already like kind of fucked up from reading it because like I was trying not to, think about it, and then you were, and then like you said that, and I'm like, oh, so now everybody knows. So.
Yeah, no kidding. I was trying to let us get through the death segment and then address it. Man, I'm just like J Strick. We were just talking about. We've never had like news like that so hard hit during a live stream in the middle of it. Like that sucks, man. That sucks so much. Chelani, you're drinking out of that's the cup that you get like leftovers of pho in.
Yeah, exactly, exactly. And I have a lot of pho.
Now that I eat I eat all kinds of meats now, right? So that's always super cool. And so the other day, like I got some pho from Viet Hong. I got it ordered, right? I ordered it and had it delivered. And they delivered it super fresh from so far away. It was really surprising for Viet Hong.
It's right down the street from me.
It's not to me,
Yeah, I know.
And but I ordered the one that had like beef and meatballs, right? First of all, they didn't give me my meatballs, which pissed me off. But I did get the meat, right? And so the meat is raw fucking beef, okay?
Yeah.
It's raw beef that when you put it like the hot soup, it like goes to like medium rare a little bit, right? Bruh, when I opened that, I was like, first of all, I was like, where the fuck are my meatballs? And I was like, this is just like a fucking bag of raw meat.
It's funny. Raw meat's awesome.
We got a super chat from Mike. He says, it may sound cheesy, but I am really thankful that I heard the news about Chadwick here on stream with you boys while engaged in conversation about being excellent to each other. Thank you for that. Thank you for the super chat. And you know what that means. We only did a quick one because we don't want to make it seem like we're applauding the death of Chadwick Boseman. And obviously that's going to be the topic of conversation tonight in the after show. Jesus Christ. That sucks so bad. That sucks so bad.
Now I got to watch Black Panther again.
Yeah, we do.
I have to, man, it's just so many things that like he had such a great career that didn't even really jump yet. He's so young for that to happen. 42, that's not bad. I'm 41, man.
43.
Like Heath Ledger all over again,
43, that's right.
Yeah, Heath Ledger, when that shit happened,
Heath Ledger died.
Like, you know what his career would have done after Dark Knight, man? And now we're not going to see that from Chadwick. And in an industry where there aren't a lot of, like, in the forefront black people, right?
That are
That's
stars.
just such a loss. That's such a loss, man.
Yeah, he's iconic. I mean, when you think about the role of T'Challa and Black Panther, you're always going to associate it with him. And what that movie is, I've seen that movie. Literally, me and Kiara saw Black Panther like 4 times in theaters together. And it's just like every time we're just like, dude, I'm going to fucking cry. And we all are probably every time you watch the scene now where he dies in the movie and he sees his dad.
Yeah.
Bruh. And God.
It is messed
all
up.
his ancestors and shit.
Yeah. It's the first movie I took my parents to first Marvel movie I took my parents to go see.
I remember you mentioned that in our review for it.
And it's just like it's such a cultural touchstone of how beautiful that film was. And Chadwick Boseman is a huge part of that. He was a great actor in that film. He he made a character so like he Black Panther isn't obscure, but he put Black Panther back in the forefront.
Oh yeah,
and made it.
He's A-list, man, 100%.
He's A-list, 100%. Yeah, you're right. And it's just you got to take care of yourself. First of all, we got to make sure that we, as men, we need to take care of ourselves. Make sure we go to the doctor. Make sure that everything works out. Yeah, exactly. That stuff. You have to do this stuff because as we get older, these are necessary for us. And if you don't, I mean, it comes out to be things like this. I know it's something that he probably has been fighting all this time, but I had no idea.
Yeah,
I didn't either.
None of us did, and it's just it strikes you that health condition. You got to take care of yourself, especially in the time of whatever this nonsense, the beer bug, I will call it. That's what this is. We got to take care of ourselves. We got to stay positive too.
And of course, he played Jackie Robinson in 42. Such a great performance there.
Oh yeah.
And today is Jackie Robinson Day.
Yep.
It's not just Bill and Ted Day, and it's Jackie Robinson Day. The teams were wearing 42 today.
42.
Wow.
Yeah.
Mhm.
And it's just
crazy.
such it's a loss, man. It's a big
is.
loss, dude. This year sucks so much.
really
I mean,
does.
as far as black celebrities, important figures in Black American culture, especially, is we've lost Kobe, we've lost Chadwick, even Herman Cain, right?
Herman Cain, yeah, Herman
You
Cain.
know, and regardless, like it just sucks to lose prominent black voices. You know,
It does.
It accentuates to me a little bit about what happened. Like, I thought the biggest loss I had this week was the NBA postponing a few games. This puts that all back into perspective. And like, it just sucks. It really, really sucks. He was a great T'Challa. He was a great actor who had a very bright
Promising
future.
career.
Oh yeah.
100%. And that just fucking blows. That just blows.
That's why I was like, I had to pass on some of the questions because like I'm sitting here thinking about like his performance in Black Panther and like him and Michael B. Jordan like going back and forth in that film.
Yeah.
And like it's got me thinking about like the Black Lives Matter movement and then like that scene in the end where it's like he's like fighting that same battle that we're obviously still fighting today. And it's just like, bro, God, it just hits me all in my feels.
Bro, and it's crazy, the synchronicity too. Like,
yeah.
Like he is literally watching over you as you said that. And it's crazy to me. Like I keep looking at your screen and I'm just like, I can't.
I know.
It's still too raw. I don't even really believe it. Yeah, James Brown, Thurgood Marshall.
Mm-hmm.
He played them as well.
He played I don't know if you ever saw it, Draft Day. It was pretty good. It's Kevin Costner, but he's the running back that gets drafted in the movie. It's a really cool story.
I hate to, because right now it's still, I don't even believe it. So I can almost do this because I don't fucking feel the full impact yet. It's going to happen it's going to happen like probably tomorrow. I'm going to really feel this impact. It's just like, goddamn, first of all, this year has just been a stream.
Oh, God.
Just
every
garbage.
Every few days, it's just, we have experienced loss on a collective front, and we personally here have experienced major loss too. And in recent weeks, and it fucking sucks. And I fucking hate it. And other people in the community has experienced loss. Comic Jabroni, and just Mark, member of the PCP fucking family, and did his own good stuff with RCR and ENS, and this year fucking sucks, y'all. But I do want to kind of shift away a little bit into focus and just, what do you think Marvel's going to do right now? Brooks, what do you think Marvel's going to do? Do you think they'll can Black Panther? Do you think they'll recast? What are they going to do?
They'll recast him, I think. I mean, as hard as it is, I mean, the show must go on.
That's some big shoes to fill.
They are.
Yeah, but somebody's going to have to step up and fill him because they can't just.
Well, obviously, Black Panther 2 is going to be dedicated to him, right?
Yeah.
And I think that's going to affect the story a little bit, maybe. God, it sucks. God, this sucks even talking about who's going to replace him, because it's like, God damn, this fucking sucks. We didn't just lose Black Panther. We lost one of the greatest black artists out there right now. This sucks.
It doesn't work with like continuity and what happened in the movie. But like, to me, it would be perfect if Michael B. Jordan could somehow do it. But it wouldn't work because like they killed him off, and like, I don't know.
Yeah.
Jesus, man.
I don't even know what to say anymore because like you can't, I can't fathom that another horrible thing will happen next week that will totally blow my mind. It's just it's a nonstop roller coaster of nonsense, and this is on top of it. And I can't. I don't know, man. I'm just not. I'm not prepared for this year. I hope. We can survive to 2021, so we can get out of whatever this is. This would be nice. That would be really nice.
The darkest timeline that we're in right now, man.
Gosh, just too much, man. Just
anyway, we'll just move on if we can. But god damn, that just sucks. It just sucks. It sucks. It sucks that it happened on a night that we usually have so much joy and positivity on.
And particularly a movie that we have a lot of joy and positive feelings about.
Right. Dude, I'm just
in
even
the middle
thinking
of
like
talking about death.
I know, that's weird, man.
I like what Mikey says. He says respect his work and give it a few years. I think that's probably the best. It just sucks because that was a very prominent franchise for Americans right now in particular.
Right now, we need
like
that.
A huge.
We need him.
You know what it is? You know what it is,
like
though?
him.
This is what we do. It's Shuri. Do the Shuri movie.
Yep.
Yeah.
Bro.
Make her Black Panther.
Dude.
Do the Shuri movie.
Did y'all see Endgame on opening night? Because I went on opening night.
You know it, buddy.
Scene when they open the portals and Black Panther, Shuri, and his mom walk out. Everyone fucking lost it, dude. Everyone was
man.
screaming. Yeah, it's iconic, dude.
God. Yeah, man.
They're just like, let's go.
Yeah,
I think. Go ahead.
Shuri's what they need to do. She was Black Panther. That's how she was introduced to me.
Mm-hmm.
That's what they're gonna do. Put in something, I don't know, but yeah, Shuri. That's the focus then on Black Panther 2. That's what you should. That's what they're gonna do. That's what they should do. Don't replace them yet, but like make a Shuri movie then. Black Panther 2 is Shuri. Like who cares?
Yeah,
let's do it. I think that's the best way to honor it. I think is past the legacy.
I agree.
Yeah, I think so. And she's a strong character, and the I can't remember. I don't know her name, but the actor that played her, she did an amazing job with that character in Black Panther and in Endgame, or was she Infinity War? Whatever.
She was in Infinity War.
In both.
In both. She shows up out of the portal in Endgame too. Infinity War, they're on Wakanda. Well, I guess they're still on Wakanda in Endgame too.
Yeah, because they show up at the end, so they're in both. They're in both.
Yeah.
Just a big loss, man. That really sucks. But it does get me I'm starting to get a little bit of hope, thinking that that means that Shuri can be like that. Gives me a little bit of hope there. I don't know.
Yeah,
it sounds weird, but
well, they might not want to do that though because they're doing Love and Thunder, so they might not want to like do the gender swap thing with two superhero characters that close together. Maybe
who gives a shit?
Yeah, I mean,
Hemsworth.
I'm trying to think like a corporate suit would think.
Well, Hemsworth is still in Love and Thunder, so it's
there's still a Thor there. Yeah, with another Thor. So I understand.
And there are the extra hammers and everything that they could do with Stormbreaker and whatnot, right? So,
bro.
But speaking of that, I wish that if they bring in Beta Ray Bill, my favorite Marvel Legend character.
I'm surprised they have it, man. He's a fucking
nuts.
Fan favorite, man.
Yeah, man.
Everybody literally thinks it's right around the corner at some point. His first appearance keeps going up and up and up and up.
Yeah.
And it's not a hard one to find, but the price is starting to get really kind of out there. So if you want it, get it fucking now.
Need to get it. Right. Man. Whew. Yeah, dude, I'm not sure if I'm going to be able to stay. I know I was gonna say something before, but it's probably best if I bow out for a little bit.
All right, buddy.
You guys be good, be excellent to each other. Stay safe. I was gonna do a show and tell real quick. I'll just show one thing. My one thing is going to be my Keanu Reeves John Wick.
Nice.
And let me get him close.
You got the dog?
I got the dog as well. This is the Mayfix version. This is actually the Chinese knockoff because I refused to open my very, very expensive one that I bought at the con. But this one works just as well. I wanted him open. I needed a John Wick to like stand somewhere, and he comes with the hand with the pencil, and he's really cool. And I know you got one, Robbie. I do have to say this. I show this one. This is not out of the box yet, but I got heat.
Nice.
Thank you, Mike.
Cool.
Thank you, Mike, for telling me about this.
Mike. Might be coming in clutch,
dude. He is very clutch. I cannot wait to get my sandstorm. All right, I'm good. That was
you
my
gonna be there tomorrow?
Yeah, I'm coming tomorrow. I'll totally be there. Yeah, John is gonna have a grand. We're gonna all have a grand time, man, dude.
Yeah, man.
So thank you guys so much for having me on. And yeah, like I said, party on. Be excellent at each other. Thanks a lot.
Love you, bro.
Have a great night, man.
Love
you too, man.
See you later.
Yeah, 2020 sucks, man. I'm out of here.
Doesn't it?
Yeah, it does. Be good.
We need to go back in time and stop 2020 from ever happening.
You're right, buddy.
Bro, did you read Mega Man? Can you tell us what's going on?
Oh yeah, we were supposed. Yeah, that's a good segue.
Well, it seems this Mega Man is kind of doing its own thing. Like it's kind of taking like some of the established lore and kind of taking it in a new direction. They're kind of doing their own thing. It seems like with this one, it seems to be set after probably the first 6 games because it's got like Skull Man in it.
Okay,
but
I only played the first.
Be like taking being like a post the games and just like taking its own direction with it. I think it seemed pretty interesting. I've been actually kind of like it.
Well, give us a little bit of a review on it, man. What'd you think about the story, the art? What'd you think about it?
I like the art. The art is pretty good, and I'm interested. Like I'm wanting to see where they're going to go with this because like Mega Man, like from. Like I read all the Archie comics, which is actually they were actually pretty good. And Mega Man was always kind of a reluctant hero who had he always had this problem of that, he's a robot who is built to destroy other robots. Or well, he wasn't initially built for that, but like he ended up having to be given this weapon that allows him to destroy these other robots that were like corrupted.
Yeah.
And it has they had it Proto Man. He has Proto Man in there being all emo, hiding in the shadows.
Is that who that is?
Yeah, he's the guy with the scarf and like the scar on his face.
It calls him brother.
Proto Man. Yeah, he showed up in Mega Man 3. But yeah, he's actually Mega Man's brother, who was like is kind of like his long lost brother, pretty much. But yeah, I'm interested to see where they go with this Mega Man story.
So I read it. And I've really only devoted a lot of time to Mega Man 1 and 2, which I do think are some of the best NES games out there. They're really frustrating to me personally.
You gotta get in a pattern. You gotta figure out your pattern with Mega Man. Like it's all about figuring out your timing, your shots, pretty much.
That's why we're going to start having our NES nights, Brooks. And I will say this: Mega Man 1 and 2 have some of the best NES video game music.
It's really good.
Man. I would love to have Mega Man 2 soundtrack, dude.
So you've not only read those Archie comics, you played beyond NES.
You lived
right?
it. You were there.
I played up to 6, which is what was on the Legacy
SNES.
collection, the first Legacy collection.
Okay.
But I haven't beaten any of them. Well, I did beat 2. I beat Mega Man 2.
There's more than 6 though, right?
Oh man, there's probably like.
Yeah, I think it's up to 9 now.
Well, one of them was Mega Man X, right?
Yeah,
But
Mega Man X is like its own series.
Okay.
It was set in the future of Mega Man. I think it's set like 1,000 years after the events of Mega Man or something like that. But yeah, Mega Man X isn't the original Mega Man.
Oh my goodness, there's Mega Man, there's Mega Man X, Mega Man Zero, Mega Man ZX.
There's like 4 or 5 different
Star Force, Rockman, Zover, Battle Network, Legends. What the hell? What the hell? Here's the timeline. Mega Man, Mega Man 2, Mega Man 3, Mega Man Dr. Wily's Revenge, Mega Man 4, Mega Man 2 on Game Boy, Mega Man 5, Mega Man 3 on Game Boy, Wily and Wright, No Rock Board, That's Paradise. What a weird fucking NES title. Mega Man 4 Game Boy, Mega Man 6, Mega Man Soccer, Mega Man 5 Game Boy, Mega Man The Wily Wars, Mega Man 7, Mega Man The Power Battle, Mega Man 2 The Power Fighters, Mega Man 8, Mega Man Battle Chase, Mega Man and Bass Super Adventure Rockman, the Mega Man Anniversary Collection in 2004, Powered Up 9 and 10, Street Fighter X Mega Man, the Legacy Collection 2015, Legacy Collection 2, and Mega Man 11 in 2008 and 18.
Yeah, I haven't played Mega Man 11. I heard it's good, though.
That's not including all those other ones like X and ZX and all that shit. Wow. So there you go. A lot.
Not as many as Mario, though.
Right? Especially when you put it all together.
Mario games that would come up if you looked that up.
Donkey Kong would be one of them, right? And so would Mike Tyson's Punch-Out, So
for people in the chat, it kind of stands on its own, Brooks. You don't kind of have to have played every single Mega Man to read it.
Yeah, no, not really. Yeah.
Okay, I'm gonna reread it then, because I think I was two in my head.
Yeah.
Well, and the thing too is that in one,
you get a basic overview of the story, of the game story, kind of you would basically know a little bit more, but it's not necessary, I don't think.
And there's not too much story in Mega Man 1 and 2, right?
Not really.
You're a robot, kill the evil robot.
Yeah.
Or does most of this stuff come from the games, Brooks, or does it come from the comic book before?
Most of it's in the games, yeah. They did change his sister from being rolled to something else. There's a different character, because usually it's Mega Man was named Rock, and Dr. Light had another robot, which was his sister, named Roll.
Yeah.
And Proto Man named Blues originally. Dr. Light had a thing about naming his robots after musical styles.
Nice.
But they changed that. They changed the sister character in this one. Which I know maybe that's something they're going to address later on. Who knows, But yeah, the Robot Masters, like Skullman, he's from the games. Dr. Wily, of course, and Shadow Man. So yeah, it seems like they're taking the characters and just kind of doing a new thing with them.
And how about that fire ass foil cover, man? That chromium.
Yeah, that's the one I got too.
Foil cover, man. They're so rare these days, so you can actually enjoy it when one comes along. Ooh.
Oh, dude! Every issue of Power Rangers.
I was about to say, every issue. But I think we're spoiled with that.
Yeah, we really are.
And in the 90s, they saturated the market with holofoil.
Yeah, were you like me, Brooks? I know you were. You bought all of them as you could. Me too. It worked. I still buy them today. Wildcats #4. Great stuff. Yeah, there's
the death metal.
Behind you.
The death metal is freaking awesome foiled.
Oh yeah, death metal too, man. Those are good. I wish all the tie-ins, the one-shots were.
Oh, I know.
Were just like the first one. They were all metal like that. People like Woodman out there.
Oh yeah.
I know that there's a certain way that's the best way to get through the Mega Man games. And Brooks, you said you only ever beat 2.
Yeah.
So that means we got to really work hard for Mega Man 1. But luckily we have save states.
To the end of Mega Man 1, I got to the Yellow Devil in Mega Man 1. And the Yellow Devil is one of the most notoriously hard bosses. But there's a trick you can do with him. Have you ever heard of it where you use a certain weapon and you pause and unpause the game and it'll build up damage on him? When the game is paused?
No, I've never even made it beyond I've never even made it there, bro. I don't.
It's hard, man. The first one's pretty hard. The first one's harder than the second one, I think. I think the second one's probably the easiest one.
Really?
Yeah, but it's the most fun, I think, because I know what I'm doing. It's a lot more simple. In the third one, they introduced a slide, which gives you another thing you have to think about using. 2 is a bit more simple, but more it has more stuff in it than the first one does. It's a little more smooth, I think, because the first one could be a little clunky at times.
Yeah,
I think they ironed that out in the second one.
Herminio says he beat 1 and 2, and I'm like, weird stretch, bro.
Brooks, you read that 3 Jokers?
Yeah, I did.
Bruh.
I hated it.
Did you really? What'd you think?
Barbara whining.
In a non-spoiler way, what did you think about it?
Yeah, I liked it. I think it's interesting. I'm looking forward to the next one. It's 3 issues, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm wondering if they're gonna like maybe lean more towards like in one issue Jason's problems and another one maybe in Barbara's.
Yeah, maybe.
And then end with Bruce.
Yeah.
And I'm telling you, it's connected somehow to the death of his parents in some kind of way. Here's something. It's maybe this isn't spoilery or nothing, right? But you know the importance of the first page of any piece of fiction, right, Brooks?
Yeah.
He runs over the grave of his parents. They recap the death of his parents.
Mm-hmm.
If you remember in the first Batman movie by Tim Burton in '89, Joker was the guy who killed Bruce's parents, right? Are you not as shocked as I am that in all this time they've never done that in the comic books or even hinted at it? Aside from a couple Elseworlds?
Yeah, but it's like, you know how fans of like especially like hardcore fans of stuff like Batman are about them changing continuity too much like that.
Yeah, like making 3 Jokers.
And especially like back then, like, but I mean, I guess it's still the same now, but like people will pitch a fit about it if you stray too far into changing continuity like that. Especially if the reasoning behind it is, oh, it's like that in the movie.
Well, I think the reasoning is going to be different in this one. I don't think that he's necessarily the killer, but I think he's more involved. The original criminal Joker, right?
Yeah.
Because they mention the mafia family, right?
Yeah.
And they mention his war with them and how they were implicated in the deaths of the Wayne. And then it was Joe Chill that confessed to them, right?
Yeah.
I really think that's Bruce's, like, Jason was killed by a Joker. Barbara was paralyzed by a Joker. What happened to Bruce aside from just dealing with the Joker? And that's the thing that ties it to him, to me. Just we'll see if it plays out. I'm just saying. I'm trying to throw theories out there because my multiversal theory is out the water, pretty much.
Really?
Yeah, I think so. They're not Jokers from different realities. It just seems like they're just making new Jokers, right?
Yeah.
But I don't know.
I don't think after that first issue, I think we probably don't have any idea what the fuck's gonna happen next. That's how I feel about it.
You're honestly right, bro.
Like, I did not see anything coming in that issue, which was great. It was totally worth the wait.
Yeah, wait, that's a good question then. You said it's worth the wait. I think it's worth the wait. Brooks, do you think that was worth waiting 4 years for?
Yeah. I mean, like, it's always good for like to take your time with something like this, like something that's got this much hype behind it. Because if you take the time to like make it good, then people will forget about the wait, you know.
Oh,
like,
yeah.
Yeah, we had to wait all this time, but no, now it's here. And now I'm like,
and there's not a misstep at all in the artwork.
Yeah.
No, that's what I was gonna say. Like the artwork, it feels like every single panel matters, and there's weight to every single like thing that's going on. You know.
You know,
like the Killing Joke in a way.
Yeah, that's why I bought that Absolute today.
So you know the direction or the director Ang Lee, right? So Ang Lee feels that every frame of his movie should be able to be looked at as a piece of art, right?
Yeah.
And regardless of what you think about some of his movies are brilliant, some of them maybe not so much. But he does take very precise methodology at making sure that each frame is crafted as a work of art that you can hang on a wall. I feel like that's what's going on with 3 Jokers. Just like Doomsday Clock, every panel is so clean and so perfect. You see so many times artists taking shortcuts to get through their deadline, right?
Yep.
But when you're basically working with no deadline, like Doomsday Clock and 3 Jokers, you're just going until it's done. That was the thing with 3 Jokers. They were like, it's not going to come out till it's done. That's how long it took them to do it. And that shows you the level of perfection and what's the word? Like just artistry that's in the script and the artwork and the coloring.
That gives like an interesting dynamic to think about in the sense of like, would you rather wait for something like this and have it at its purest and highest quality, or just get shit pumped out like we do now in the sense, you know? Like
Well, Are your
Go ahead.
favorite comic books right now books from, say, Image or Vault or Aftershock and indie titles, or Marvel and DC? What are your favorite?
Definitely indie for sure.
And, you know, like, especially at Image and Vault, like in between arcs, they'll take a month or two break
It's true.
to make sure that they can stay on schedule and not rush through.
And that's what because Kanto took a hiatus too, right? Like, I just read the first 6 issues and that shit was phenomenal.
Yeah, tell us a little bit, because Brooks, you ever read Kanto?
No, I haven't read that.
Well, I got to let you borrow the trade, man. You'll love it. But Jay Strick, I guess in a non-spoilery way, what did you think about it? You read it for the first time, like, what, today?
Yeah, today I couldn't put it down. I read the first 6 issues of Kanto, and non-spoiler, I think you said it the best in your weekly comic book reviews of Kanto. It's kind of like a mix of Wizard of Oz and what was the other one?
It's Dante's Inferno.
Dante's Inferno, yeah, totally.
It's literally why he's named Kanto.
Yeah, totally got those vibes. And man, it's one of the first comic books I've read in a while that just made me feel hopeful. And like, but there's also like painful things going on in the story. And like, you just go on this journey with Kanto and you're just like, holy shit, man. This is like, I feel like I'm playing Zelda for the first time, and like I'm just going through the whole game and I'm just in awe. And it's so good, man. It's so good.
What's crazy, without spoiling it, but the ending of the first book does not hold anything back.
No.
Like, this is straight up Jungian, Campbellian, like, storytelling. You know what I'm saying? This is the hero's journey. It's 100%. Wizard of Oz meets Dante's Inferno. As far as Dante's Inferno, it's more about the structure of it, right? But it is literally why he's called Kanto. That's what David Imbuer was going for. The artwork seems almost cartoony, like this could be a Pixar film or something, right?
Yeah.
But it doesn't hold those things back. It's almost something like Up, where it doesn't hold back the idea of tragedy and grief. And now they have done a one-shot, and now they've started the second series, and both of those issues that came out this year have the exact same feeling captured. And it is absolute brilliancy. And it's something that I think we will be talking about for decades.
For sure.
I think it's a Dark Knight Returns, a Watchmen, a Mouse, a Sandman. I think it has the potential to be one of those things.
Yeah, it's like I want all my comic people to read it so I can like talk about it with them. You know, it's like that good. And I want to read that one shot before I read 2. I
have to let you borrow mine. Yeah,
I know I could probably just hop into 2, but I think after reading some of what the one shot was about, I think I want to read it first. But man, it's so good, man. Comic books right now, like there's so many good indie titles, and not to like dog the big 2, but it's just like I can only think of a handful of comics that I'm reading from them. It's really like that.
Well, here's what I want to say, because we get accused of all the time being too indie focused here or whatever. And to be honest, we're just focusing on what we think is the best. Okay?
I just want to read good stories.
Yeah,
I don't care.
Let's be honest. Like, don't claim that I am not focusing on Marvel or DC. I'm reading shit from Marvel that I don't like right now.
This man has read all the Empire tie-ins.
Every single fucking one. But
give this man a trophy.
Thank you. I got one. It's Pablo. Pablo is
read all the crappy Marvel Empire tie-ins.
Yeah, Brooks, in the last weekly comic book review, I would totally went angry video game nerd, man.
Yeah, I literally bang him against your head.
Yeah. But that's how it feels. I mean, that's the great like interpretation of it. Luckily, it's almost over. It all wraps up next week, and I'm ready for it to be over, because we're about to have like a 24 issue crossover between the X-Men.
And then you're gonna have all the King in Black stuff.
Yeah, and here's something, Brooks. I want to ask you this, because Brooks is a big X guy. You're reading every single X book, right? Just like me, right? Yeah. What do you think about the state of the X-Men? Do you think they're all necessary? And what do you think about the idea that in order to read Ten of Swords, you're going to have to read every single X-Men book for like 2 or 3 months?
Well, I mean, it's fine.
You're used to it.
They'll be like more important. Like, you know, when they do that, it's usually like more what the character, like in Cable, like it'll be more like what Cable's doing during said event. Yeah. Like you can stick to like mostly the main X books to get the main story.
Yes.
Like you want to know what X Factor's doing during it, or X Force or whatever.
I think that's exactly it, because they're doing those 3 one-shots, right? Like
Mhm.
Creation and something else and something else. There's 3 one-shots that are written by Hickman and like Teeny Howard. And so I think you're right on the money. Like the main story is going to happen there and probably in X-Men. And then everything else is going to do. But Excalibur, I think, is going to be important too. Because this is why I'm cool with Ten of Swords. Because I'm already reading all these books, right?
Yeah.
Now I have a luxury. Like I'm not having to really necessarily buy them all at cover price like Brooks does. Brooks legitimately does that.
Well, I haven't been getting Wolverine.
Oh, you need to get Wolverine. Like, seriously, if you're going to drop anything, there are plenty of X titles you can drop in lieu of Wolverine. Wolverine's really good. We're going to get you on Wolverine. Me and Strickland will buy them for you.
Yeah.
Fuck that. Fuck that, man. We'll get you Wolverine. It's just 4 issues in right now. We can commit to that, right?
I've got the first issue.
You got to, it's only 3 issues. I'll get 2 of them if you get 1, Strickland. We'll get them to you on Wednesday, man. 100%. You got to read Wolverine. It's really good, and you're gonna have to read it for 10 of Swords, right?
Mm-hmm.
But the biggest reason why I'm like super excited for this is about not only Apocalypse, it's Apocalypse centric, right?
Yeah.
But it's introducing his original 4 horsemen.
Yeah, that's dope.
And I'm really excited to learn about them. And because guess what? They're coming back. I'm sure with Resurrection Protocol, right?
It seems that way.
Bruh.
Well, they wouldn't have been alive for Xavier to put into Cerebro, though, would they?
Well, maybe they're in another reality or something, but they're coming back in some form or another. You're right, though, about that. That's a good point. Unless Apocalypse somehow already has them.
Yeah.
You know?
Well, I mean, Apocalypse, he's got like celestial technology still, doesn't he?
Yes, he does.
Like, there's a possibility that he could, if possible.
And he's working with mutant magic right now, dude. Like mutant ceremonial magic.
The whole clan, Akaba or whatever it is.
Yeah, Akaba or whatever, right?
When you're dealing with Jonathan Hickman, nothing is off the table. After that more stuff, like I did not see that shit coming.
And we still haven't that Moira stuff hasn't come
you
back
still don't
yet.
know anything. Like,
nor has the Phalanx stuff come back yet. Nor has
vanished.
Nor has the Phalanx stuff. But you think that, I mean, that's what Hickman does. You read East to West, right, Brooks?
Yeah.
That's what Hickman does. He lays seeds.
You said a lot of stuff in those early X-Men issues that still hasn't paid off yet.
Yeah.
It's like there's the seed. He's just planting the seeds early on.
I think that's something that turns a lot of people off of Hickman.
It does. It really does, I think.
He does a lot.
You see the same thing with Decorum right now.
Yeah, 4 issues in, you're seeing it with Decorum, right?
Yeah.
But I have the patience to deal with it because I've read his Avengers. I've read his Fantastic
Four, Avengers
East of West.
I reread that run, man.
Yeah. He can get to the point if he wants to, but he's pretty freaking solid. But here's the thing, then. We're always talking about indies, even though we just talked about X-Men. Jay Strick, what is your favorite Marvel and DC book right now?
Favorite Marvel book would be probably Daredevil. Zdarsky's run on it has just been phenomenal. And I've read a lot of the Frank Miller stuff. I've read a lot of the Mark Waid stuff, and I'm like really digging. Like, I know I just might be blasphemous, but I'm feeling like I might like this more than all that. And I don't know. It's just the artwork, his storytelling. Like he made Stillman cool. Like I don't know how
and threatening.
Like how do you do that? I don't know. He made an annual readable
and necessary.
Like I think it's super creative, and like if you're not reading Daredevil, you get those trades or whatever. Do whatever you have to do it because it's 100% worth it.
I think I agree with you. I think it's their best book right now.
Yeah,
it's consistently on my top 10.
Yeah, it is.
Even more so than Thor and Venom.
That's like the only book he's doing right now, too, right? Zdarsky? I can't think of anything else he's on right now.
Not at Marvel. He's got a new one coming out from Image called Stillborn, I think.
Yeah, I saw a solicitation for that. Wait, what was the other question? You said DC?
Yeah, what's your favorite DC book?
It'd be a toss-up between Flash and Green Lantern, but I'd probably go Green Lantern.
Dope.
Dude, Grant Morrison.
A little G-Mo, baby.
It's like that thing, too. I think it's the Jonathan Hickman, Grant Morrison. Some people are turned off from it because it's kind of – their stuff's out there, and it's not for everyone, and I understand that. But, dude, I read all the shitty Green Lantern comic books when I was a kid, and this was all worth it to lead to this, because every single issue is like, it's almost like an Ice Cream Man-esque sense of it's a one shot on its own. I mean, there's obviously like an overlying storyline going, but it's so good, man. It just follows Hal as a space cop. That's literally it. He's barely like, I think there was like one issue, maybe 1 or 2 issues where he's on Earth, but everything else has been like he's out in space on Oa fighting aliens, doing shit, and it is so freaking dope. I never want Grant Morrison's Green Lantern run to end, and I know it will at some point, and I'm just praying that he hops over to Flash after that.
I know that some Morrison heads, we call ourselves acolytes, just so you know. And if you want to, seriously, join the Facebook group, the Morrison's Acolytes. I'm there. It's great. Okay. Like this dude, literally, Morrison changed my life, and he's changed a lot of people's lives for the better. And because literally getting too far into Morrison's ideas leads you down a crazy ass rabbit hole. Trust me. But some of us feel like this book doesn't quite go as far as some of the other Morrison superhero stuff does. But I liken it to more like his Justice League run.
Yeah.
His Justice League run did very cool, grounded stories into DC history and canon.
Yeah.
But at times he went a little weird. And that's what I get from Green Lantern. And I love the idea that he's taking a typical police procedural structure.
Yeah.
Like Brooks, I don't think have you read Green Lantern, Brooks?
I read the first issue.
So what he's doing is like, in every NYPD Blue or even something like Brooklyn Nine-Nine, even like Brooklyn Nine-Nine, you have your cliche stories that you do.
Yep.
The hostage situation, the attack on the precinct, all this kind of stuff, right? The cop having to turn in his badge and gun, right? This is literally what Morrison's doing. He's doing the typical police procedural thing, but in a Grant Morrison, like ultra 90s heavy metal, weird UK kind of way.
With like aliens and people from different multiverses and
really cool ideas about what, like, it's more of an imagination ring.
Yeah.
And the idea that there's a world inside of it. Like that's something that gets explored is what does the microverse inside of the ring look like? And how does that channel willpower? And it's more magical than it is scientific at times. But science and magic merge in Grant Morrison's world and in my world because of Grant Morrison. But also you got Liam Sharp and Steve Olaf.
Oh my God.
The artwork is so detailed, stylistic, super 90s comic book. It's like really weird and out there and in your face, but he handles it so well. And Olaf, Sharp, and Morrison have all been in this industry for literally 30 plus years at this point. Okay. And they are pumping out work like they're goddamn 22 years old. And that this is the first shot they get at a DC character.
It's cool too, because like as a Green Lantern fan, like Morrison and Sharp, they're using like lanterns that typically wouldn't be used in a story. So like a lot of times I'm like, who the hell was that? What'd you say?
Isn't there one that's a germ? Like a Green Lantern that's a germ?
Yeah.
I think that's one of the jokes in the first one was like, he doesn't catch you, you catch him.
Yeah.
I love the volcano head guy too.
Oh my God, yes. And it like this idea, like Hal even says this in the story, is like, I'm not a superhero, I'm a space cop. And I'm like, bruh, this guy gets it. This guy gets Green Lantern, and I love it. So, and
he understands Hal Jordan.
Yes.
That Hal Jordan does not take his life very seriously. So usually what we see with a Lantern writer is dealing with the run in which Hal is having to deal with the problems that his life presents in Earth, right? Mm-hmm. Like his lack of commitment, right? Like you see that dealt with. His lack of connection to his family, you see that dealt with. Yeah. We've seen that. We've seen it done to death, and we've seen it done very well. Like Jeff Johns did a great job with that. Yeah. And we don't want to discount what Darryl Banks and Ron Mars did with Kyle Rayner when I was growing up too. Yeah. That stuff was really, really good.
First stuff I read.
And even the Judd Winnick stuff was really good and was kind of ahead of its time at times with some of its material. But he understands. I love that he's taking us. This is Hal on his journey. We're not dealing with, so like Hal's kind of a lone wolf, right? Mm-hmm. And usually what we see is him trying to reconnect with people that he doesn't see very often and their judgment on him.
Right.
But now we're getting to see him just be this guy that he actually is. Do you get what I'm saying? Like, we're not seeing him dealing with the ramifications of the emotional impact on Carol Danvers or his brother or Oliver Queen or anything like that. We're getting to see him actually be who he is. So it's nice to see.
Danvers and Green Lantern?
Oh, Jesus Christ. No, Fenris.
Yeah, it was the
Ferris, Carol Ferris. Right?
ultimate crossover. Yeah.
It is Carol, right?
It's Ferris.
Yeah, Carol Ferris, right?
Yeah, you got it.
Yeah, I know I said Danvers. I'm sorry. Carol Danvers is their Green Lantern, has the potential to be their Hal Jordan. They need to really embrace that and understand that. Me personally. I can't believe I said Carol Danvers. How many beers have I had tonight? Only
just count the cans.
3 1/3. No, 2 1/3. The third one's not open yet. Look, see? It's not open yet. Anyway, Carol Ferris, yeah, it is. I'm sorry. I thought her name was Blake Lively.
Shut up. I said
I corrected you before somebody else did.
Mike's always there to correct me, man. Don't worry.
It was a toss-up between Flash and Green Lantern, but Joshua Williamson's Flash run has been iconic, man. It's so fucking good.
Yeah, it is good. I just hate it, but that Carol Danvers thing completely let out the idea that I am an indie shill and I don't know anything, and I actually don't read these things. Speaking of not actually reading these books, Brooks, what's your favorite Marvel book and what's your favorite DC book?
Thor is my favorite at Marvel right now. And DC would probably be Death Metal, actually.
Nice.
Why Thor?
Well, I love Thor, and like ever since I began reading Thor, like in the Straczynski run, back in like what was it, the mid 2000s, something like that. And like I've loved every issue of Thor. Like I don't think there's been an issue that I'd say like I hated. But this new Donny Cates is writing now.
Yeah.
I've been really liking his stuff, and that last issue was like, wow.
Yeah, right.
Like a bomb getting dropped on your brain. Like, what?
That last page, bro.
Why Death Metal?
I still can't talk about it because it's the spoiler stuff.
Yeah, right. I mean, we get into it sometimes, but yeah, right now we don't want to spoil it.
Yeah, like I was talking about the comics. I was like, hey, hold up, dude.
Yeah, you were like, Brooks is like talking about it loudly at the register. And I'm like, yeah, some people don't pick their books up except for like once a month, every few weeks,
You gotta be careful.
It's fair game.
Why Death Metal?
Oh, Death Metal's just been so much fun, man. I've just been loving Death Metal. I love all the craziness of Death Metal.
Yeah. Robin King's a little shit.
I love his intro, his exchange with the Flash.
Oh God, Barry, I have your mother's mangled body corpse in my ring. Like what?
There's a way to kill all of you guys in here.
I love it because he doesn't
like nice belt.
Thanks, Flash.
He's a Bruce, but he's still Robin.
Such a fun ride.
There's no way he doesn't get got, right? I mean, they're gonna kill Robin King, right?
I think because he's so popular that maybe they won't.
We've got a punchline scenario. He gets his own spin-off.
I think they kill Batman Who Laughs, but they don't kill Robin King. And it leaves Scott Snyder an idea if he wants to come back and do another big DC thing, right?
Right.
Or it gives something for James Tynion to do. Because he's just as much a part of this. So is Williamson.
Yeah.
Snyder his whole direction for DC is in conjunction with Tynion and Williamson. And that's why Flash has been so good. And you're right. Flash is one of the best DC books. So is Green Lantern. My favorite DC book would be Death Metal right now. Like it's
so shamelessly over the top.
I thought we were just picking main title superhero ones, but yeah.
Do it, dude.
Yeah, right.
Chainsaw, yeah.
Well, I mean, it's also weird because some of my other favorite DC books, are miniseries right
Jarro's
now.
back.
What?
Jarro's back.
Yeah, Jarro. Jarro is back. The best ever. You got to read the entirety of the Snyder Justice League run, homie. Strickland, you got to read it all. Right, Brooks?
Yeah. It's a good run of Justice League.
Dude, you got to get, you'll love Metal so much more. Like, I promise you, you will love it so much more. Like,
I read the guidebook. I'm good.
No, you're not. No, you're not, bro.
He says.
Dude, I'm seriously, like, dude.
I read the first.
I know how to sell this to you, Strickland.
All right, give it to me.
This is Scott Snyder doing the best work of his career, a la Jonathan Hickman and Grant Morrison.
Is it better than his freaking Batman run?
Yes.
That's a pretty good run, bro.
It ends weekly.
It does.
But
Porter
not
Allen's strong though.
Yeah, it is. And it's Greg Capullo's best work. But I honestly will say that my favorite Snyder superhero work is his Justice League. Because he tells this giant epic DC appropriate crisis cosmic story.
Yeah.
And he builds up to death metal. And he does it in a very, at times, nuanced way. Like, he really still represents all of the characters and he makes it emotional. And he makes it tie in thematically. The crazy cosmic events work with the more subtle emotional bits, as above, so below. And he's doing it. And literally, there's no coincidence that he met and chatted with Grant Morrison for an entire weekend. And then he did this Justice League run. Like, seriously. Even though he did kind of fuck up the shit with Final Crisis. If you remember the Dark Father, the Batman Darkseid.
Yeah.
Like, you remember this gun you used to kill Darkseid? Or like Darkseid used to send you back through time, and he got that completely wrong. Darkseid used the Omega Sanction. So Death Metal is my favorite DC. But outside of that, it would be, right now 3 Jokers just started. I'm sure that's about to take some of the cake. But I've been loving Wonder Woman Dead Earth, Joker Killer Smile. I've been loving all of the DC Black Label stuff. So that to me is some of the best stuff too. And Suicide Squad's really good right now. Wonder Woman had potential, but they got to work out the art there.
Yeah,
in my opinion. And Marvel, though, I would say my favorite thing I most look forward to is actually Venom.
Yeah, you just reread that, right? Does it hold up?
I reread. Yeah, it does. Venom's one. Brooks knows this because he's known me for a long time. But Venom's one of my fucking favorites. Like, I've always been obsessed with Venom. And
it's so odd because it's like one of Todd McFarlane's like big characters that he created, and like we're always back then such a Todd McFarlane hater.
But you remember that I didn't really start liking Venom until Venom Lethal Protector.
Yeah.
That's a good story.
That's like when Venom started doing his own solo books, like I bought every single freaking one of them. Brooks, we covered a lot of them. My love of Venom. And Kate's is doing the best Venom story ever. And it's got this epic, crazy, cosmic, fanboy Marvel type stuff to it, but it's also got this level where it's about a codependent relationship. It's about depression and PTSD. Like, it's about those things. It's about regret and loss and facing the abyss, your dark night of the soul, and then coming out above it and finding something to fight for. Like, literally the son of God, Dylan. You know what I'm saying? So it like literally, this is crazy to me. Like, this is really good. It hits all those points.
Noel is coming.
Herminio has a good question here. He goes, my question is, are the indie books really that good, or just reading the big 2 all your life is why you want something new in the indie titles? Jay Strick, what do you think about that?
Well, I think when you work for the big 2, you have to work inside a box. So you're not also giving your best idea. Like, you're going to give some of your best ideas, but you're probably going to keep your creator-owned stuff to yourself in a sense. So when you do your own indie stuff, you get to flesh all that out. But yeah, there's certain things you can't do in the big 2 that, I guess sometimes you get to do in like a DC Black Label type style. But yeah, you kind of, the way I look at it is almost in the sense like you're kind of shackled in the sense, not that who wouldn't want to go fucking write Batman? Like, obviously that's a no-brainer, but it's just like when you read an independent title, it's just nothing's being held back, it feels like. And the imagination and storytelling is like, wow. Like when I read a book like Something's Killing Children or Canto, it's like, I'm really like there in the story and loving it. Not that I don't get that with like a Batman or the Flash, but it's just like, I don't know. You're limited, if that makes sense.
Yeah, and I've always been a big proponent of indie comics, and Brooks knows that, right? And like I've been like this since the 90s when I was first introduced to independent comics. And I always liked them better. Now I love superhero comics.
Mm-hmm.
I still love them today. I love the idea that we all get together and talk about what has happened in the last issue of Thor or Three Jokers or whatnot. I love that shit. Like, or Death Metal or Daredevil or whatever, like Thor, Venom. Like I love that. But I love good story, right? And I have always been a proponent of indie comics because that's where you get the most pure work from these people.
For sure.
When you're doing work for hire, it's cool. Yeah, like Donny Cates, James Tynion, they get great ideas they've had stored up. Bendis was the same way when he first started doing superhero comics.
Mm-hmm.
But even though I think Bendis has been watered down, I think his Superman work is some of the weakest work of his career. You know what I'm saying? Legion of Superheroes, Young Justice. I even think some of his final works at Marvel were some of the weakest of his career. I think he had some strong work, though. And I still think he has strong work today. But his strong work at DC has not been Superman or Legion of Superheroes or Young Justice. It's been Cover. It's been Pearl. It's been his indie work, And there's something about the passion that gets put into your own project.
Right.
Like that's something that is you. It's not just Marvel or DC paying you to write Batman or Venom or Thor. It's literally a story that you want to tell. And real writers tell real stories that are personal. The best writers write from experience, right? And that's one of the reasons why Venom's working so well with Donny Cates, for me especially, is because he's writing something very real. So if you read some of his indie work, the same thematic material, the same subtext is there, right? Mm-hmm. From Buzzkill, where they're dealing with the idea of alcoholism and depression and sinking in a hole and having to go back in that hole to feel powerful. And then God Country, where we're dealing with loss. And that's the first Thor book Donny Cates wrote was God Country. Because this is about a dude who picks up a magic hammer and becomes a magic god, and like, dude, it's so freaking good. Now, this is a question I want to address to Brooks because Brooks is more of a typical Big Two reader. But Brooks does read some indie work.
A few indies in there, like Birthright's probably the one that comes to mind.
Yeah.
First, and it's about to wrap up.
And in general, over your comic book reading career, and I know you've read Hellboy, and have you read Madman?
Yeah.
And Sin City, you've read some of that stuff from the early days of independent comics and Mouse and all kinds of stuff like that, right?
Yeah.
And even Ninja Turtles, TMNT was an independent comic book back in the day. So, what do you think? Is it just because we're tired of the Big Two, or is it because they're legitimately just that good?
Well, it's just like sometimes you want something different. You don't want the same thing like all over all the time. It's like. You don't want to eat the same thing every single day. You get tired of it. You want something else, And independent comics are something else. Like it's a different story, It doesn't have to be about superheroes fighting. It can be about, war or fantasy or science fiction or just, whatever else you want. Like, and that's kind of the strength of indie comics is they can branch out and do stuff like one that I remember enjoying a whole lot was Trillium. Like that was a good series that I really liked. It was an indie series.
Jeff Lemire, man.
Yeah, and I like. It's like I like to have a few indie things here to mix in with my mainstream stuff.
I always try to get Brooks on some indie books, but he's usually just like, man, I got all these damn Marvel and
it's like some of them stick and some of them don't. Like you got me on Birthright.
I feel like he comes in on Wednesdays now. We're like, dude, you gotta. Like, pick up Red Mother. You got to read this trade, man.
Oh, you read Red Mother, though? Like the first volume. What'd you think about that one, man?
Oh, I like that one a lot, actually.
It's dope, man. It's a good book. The Fable said there's room for both capes and indies. Absolutely. I kind of
indie about capes.
Yeah.
Right?
Invincible.
My thing is, like,
Madman.
Everyone raise their hand in the chat and on this video if you've been suckered into buying shitty comic books in your lifetime. I mean, we've all been there, right? It's like,
I've
dude,
never bought a shitty comic
how
book.
How many bad runs you got in your closet back there? It's just like I want to see. You said it. Like we want something different. You don't want to keep reading the same forgettable stuff. It's wild. It's like Spider-Man. Superior Spider-Man is like one of my favorite Spider-Man runs because it was so like kooky and out there. Same thing with, you can even go with Venom right now. It's like Venom is like you're going into the history of the symbiote and you're going into like the null stuff, and it's just like freaking crazy, man. Like I love it. So I just want to read
the Jane Foster Thor run by Jason Aaron. Like he did something different with it.
Exactly.
It was great. Loved it. It was like when a good writer, like, you know, takes a big risk like that and it pays off, it like just makes the story all that much better for you, I think.
It really does.
Yeah, I agree right there, man. I really, really do. Mike says you have to be 100% creative in indie. And with the big two, you're filling the holes in a story. And you have a lot of editorial interference sometimes. Like Marvel was notorious for that in the 90s. And in the 90s, DC was actually letting creators be a little bit more free. Yeah. And now it feels like we're maybe getting into a tighter thing, but I don't know. It seems like certain creators get more leeway than others, you know? Like it's different being a Scott a Scott Snyder or a Grant Morrison than it is being somebody.
It's their son.
Abel says there's no continuity to adhere to except for that which you create yourself, right? And even continuity is not too much of a burden for a lot of creators because they just kind of put their own spin on it, right? And that's the great ones do that. That's why Donny Cates stuff is working so well because he's putting new twists on old classic ideas.
I like how he's tying stuff in with the Jason Aaron Thor stuff too.
Yeah,
like the God Slayer stuff.
Absolutely. Herminio says, I appreciate how balanced you've been with your review videos. That's why you're the best. Well, thank you so much. Thank you so much. Beater Die says, do y'all take requests on review? Absolutely. Throw it out there. And if we're down, we're down. And Herminio's like, yeah, I bought some shitty comics.
I just wanted to make it feel like I was like shitting on Marvel and DC because like Robbie knows me. That was like where I started.
That's where we all start, man.
I only read.
We all start.
But like I've been there in the sense of like, all right, I only got $20 this week. Like I can only get my Marvel and DC books. You know what I'm saying? I just have the luxury that I work at a comic book store, so I can read everything now and come return it if I need to or buy it if I want to. You know, it's just, I don't know. I hope I wasn't like, it didn't seem like I was like shitting on that, did it?
Bro, I don't care if you do shit on them, man. Sometimes they really do at times deserve to be shit on, man. I mean, let's be honest. And sometimes the indie creators need to be shit on too, you know? So like, it's just, you know, I don't give a shit. Like whether it's Marvel, DC, Boom, Image, Vault, I don't give a shit. I'm going to tell you exactly what I think about the book. You know what I'm saying? So,
you know, an indie book that I ended up hating was God is Dead.
Yeah, me too. You read all that shit though, didn't you?
I didn't read that one.
I read every issue of God is Dead, and like, I was like, why did I do that? Like at the end of
dude, Brooks, do you remember me warning you about that?
Yeah.
At the beginning?
Like, it would get to parts where it seemed like they'd be doing something interesting, then they'd fuck it up. I'm like,
see, that was an Avatar book, and what Avatar had a problem with doing was they would take an idea or concept created by a popular creator, and then they would get some scrubs to fucking do it. Do you know what I'm saying? So this was Jonathan Hickman's God is Dead, right? And so you're like, oh, Jonathan Hickman dealing with the idea of mythology and yeah, I'm down with this, right? But it wasn't Jonathan Hickman, right? It was just an idea he came up with. They probably got him drunk after a con one night.
Oh no.
And
it was one of those things.
Probably came. Yeah, it was. That's Avatar does that. They pay a guy for an idea and the rights to use the name.
It was like the Neil Gaiman thing you were telling me about, right?
Oh yeah, kind of like that, but not as. Those are actually pretty good.
Okay.
Because Dark Horse gets good creators to do those Neil Gaiman adaptations.
Yeah.
But now these are just like half-assed ideas, probably that a creator came up with, and they just put his fucking name on it.
They're like, dude, just sign this real quick. He's drunk.
Brooks read every single one of those, man.
I still have them.
I'm trying to think of like a
shitty... When I'm like an old man, I'm gonna like do a review on them, like issue by issue. Like each week, I'll do a different issue. This is God is Dead, issue number 10.
I hate it. This is not a buy.
It sucks.
This isn't as good as Lay's potato chips or Let's potato chips.
Oh, damn, hands off my Let's.
Oh my God.
Pop. I'm more than just the shape of my sideburns, y'all.
Yeah, I do think Marvel needs to step their game up in that sense on Fable's comment.
First of all, I just want to say, and in relation to that, I have a 5-year plan on Blade.
Give it to this man.
Also includes the potential to end in a giant line-wide crossover if you really wanted to, but I would prefer if it was just its own thing. But it would also invigorate a relaunch of the horror line of Marvel and really make these characters like Werewolf by Night, the Living Mummy, literally even Frankenstein's monster is there and the Invisible Man, and they got their own Creature from the Black Lagoon type.
Again, you know?
Bruh, I got plans for all of that, including giving the Spirit of Vengeance to goddamn Night Thrasher and making fucking Ghost Thrasher, baby.
Ghost Rider skateboard.
Ghost Thrasher, baby. Hell yeah. You know it. Fable actually drew Ghost Thrasher. And I am fucking ready for it. So Marvel, if you ever want someone to dedicate 5 years of their life to Blade and reinvigorating the Marvel horror line to make it feel hype like a Donny Cates book, right? But also grounded in a true 70s Marvel horror type way. Because Marvel horror was always the best in the 70s. And anybody who loves horror and horror comic books, you can't let that go. 70s Marvel horror was the best superhero horror out there. That was Werewolf by Night. That was Frankenstein's Monster, Tomb of Dracula. That's where we got Blade. Y'all, that's my jam. That's my shit. I promise you. 5 years on Blade. Give it to me. Give it to me. I got a plan.
They're listening.
Fucking plan. If y'all like Blade, y'all like, and in the chat and you guys, what do y'all think about Blade? Because I know I have a big connection to this character. I've read every issue of Tomb of Dracula. I've read all that shit from the 90s, the Night Stalkers, the 3-issue Blade series that never fucking finished. I've read this brief appearances in Gambit. Yes, I own a Gambit fucking comic book because Blade's in it. But like, I'm just saying.
Don't you dare.
I'm attached to this character. What do y'all think about it? Just as kind of casual Blade fans. No offense.
No, yeah, I'm a casual Blade. Like, love the movies. Loved him in fucking Spider-Man animated series. I don't think I'm trying to think, like, was he in Avengers? Jonathan?
Recently,
yeah. That's like probably the only comic book I've ever read him in, actually. So that's my gist of it. But Blade is fucking dope. Wesley Snipes. Fucking yeah, let's do it.
I've got an idea for you. I got an idea for you for a blog to do during Horror Fest.
Okay.
I'll let you borrow my Tomb of Dracula collections.
Okay.
And I want you to read the old school Tomb of Dracula. Have you ever read the book Dracula?
I mean, I know the premise, but no,
I'm not going to ask you to read the book, but at least rewatch the Francis Ford Coppola Dracula, right? But I'll let you read. I want you to read the Tomb of Dracula books, and I want you to blog it.
Okay.
Would you be cool with that? Because you will learn about Blade from the very beginning.
Nice.
When he's like,
it's like an origin story.
Wade, yeah. These are the first appearances of Blade.
You actually have those?
I don't have the issues. I have.
Okay, I was like, I feel like that'd be like a lot of money.
No, my next. Now that I have Fantastic Four 5, my next Grail is Tomb of Dracula 10. So if anybody ever wants to do something very kind for Christmas or Hanukkah,
or Robbie Week,
Tomb of Dracula 10, the lowest grade possible. I don't care. You guys know me.
You want a kid color his name on there? You'll still take it?
Don't worry. We'll talk about that in a minute. Because we got show and tell coming up. Herminio says, I love Blade because of the Spider-Man animated series and more of the movie. Absolutely. I am attached to Belmont, therefore Blade is up there when I want to see vampires disintegrating. Hell nice. Yeah. Blade is great. I would love a Blade book drawn by Joe Bennett. My choice, honestly, would be Juan Ferreira, the guy that's doing Spider-Man Noir right now. He did the Killmonger book with Brian Hill. What a fantastic artist. What a fantastic artist. Abel says Ghost Thrasher is a legit good idea, though. I think it is, too. Because, honestly, if you know anything about Dwayne, the spirit of vengeance would find its way to him. Seriously. I've read every issue of New Warriors. I know what the fuck I'm talking about. I've met Fabian Nicieza and Mark Bagley. I've almost had lunch with them. They were snacking on crackers and cheese, and that's fine. But anyway, Brooks, what about you? What do you think about Blade? Do you think he deserves more attention in the comic books? Do you think he's got more potential?
Yeah, I mean, Blade he's just a really cool character, and like he's also, you know, it's nice that he's kind of a more diverse character as well, and you know, I think there's a lot you could do, and Marvel could do with the horror line. They even had, like, brought kind of the horror angle into the X books for a while when they did that Curse of the Mutants story.
Yeah,
you know, Dracula and everything.
They never get Blade's hair right, or do they?
Nah.
Just gotta give him a dope ass fade.
You gotta give him that fade and those tattoos, man, because that worked in the movie. You gotta take, to me, I'm not gonna give away my 5-year Blade run, but here's the idea basically is you gotta take what Wesley Snipes brought to the character, you gotta fuse it with what made the character unique in the 70s, and what made him last, and what made him remerge in the 90s. You gotta take all three of those and you gotta put them together and come up with something fresh for 2025, because that's when I'm aiming for this to actually happen. It's 5 years from now. I think I'm 5 years away from actually getting to write a Blade comic book. I don't know if they'll give me 5 years, but if I can Donny Cates it, I'll get 5 years, right? He's made Venom, fucking Marvel's one of Marvel's top books. You ever would have thought that the Venom solo series would have been Marvel's top book?
Not in a million. I remember when you were like, dude, you got to read Venom. And I was like, what? All right, cool.
Yeah, but yeah, the Blade in the Spider-Man animated series was really good too. Do y'all remember that? I got the action figure. Yeah, I'm obsessed with. I'm literally obsessed with Blade.
Yeah, I'd like to see Blade, like, you know, in more of a team role too. Like, he kind of like in the Avengers, he feels kind of like an odd man in a lot of ways.
Yeah,
I'd like to see him with like a team that's more in his vein. You know, like a Midnight Suns type team. Like,
exactly.
You know, other vampire hunters and, you know, reformed monsters and stuff like that.
Yeah, I don't want to reveal too much about my 5-year plan, but part of that plan, like I said, it would
revealing stuff.
It would expand on the idea that they could create a whole line of this. That's part of it. Like, yeah, Blade in the Avengers, that's cool, but he's too small of a role, right? And so then he's all about the one-liners. And Blade's best stuff is not about his one-liners. It's about his fucking struggle. It's about Blade's best thing is the idea that he hates himself. Okay, he's literally going out every night and killing himself, pieces of himself, vampires. Don't forget, he's a vampire. He may only be like half vampire, but that means he's still full vampire to himself. So every night he's killing every single one of them. And one of the things I liked about the Jason Aaron bit with Avengers is that dude tells Blade that. Remember that, Brooks? And he goes, "When you kill us all, there's one left to do, and that's you."
Nice.
And it's a thing about self-destruction, and they capture that in the Blade movies, especially where he's trying so hard to balance and center himself to deal with what he has to do in his past. And he's into like Buddhist meditation and shit. Yeah. And then like when Whistler gets killed, he like cuts the roots of that fucking plant, and he's just done with it. That's his crisis of faith. Man, that's what you got to do in the Blade book. That's what you got to do. You got to get to that idea, because that's what's important. And if he was assembled with some of these other characters like Werewolf by Night, Man-Thing, even Morbius, Ghost Rider, Ghost Thrasher in particular, he would be the leader. He would be the Captain America. He's the Captain America of that world, of the dark side of the Marvel Universe, and they need to realize that. And that's how you can make this. That's how you can reinvigorate this entire line of Marvel that's been legitimately dead for like 30 plus years, honestly.
It seems like too, from like a Marvel marketing standpoint, they probably would want to at least introduce him back into comics at some point soon, because the movie's coming out in like 2 years at least.
Well, that's why he's been in comic books in the last year or two more than he's ever been for a while.
That's true.
Because he was in the Avengers book and he's in the Strike Force book. So
okay, I'm not reading Strike Force.
But I guarantee you, we're getting a new Blade series when the Mahershala Ali one comes out. We'll get one right before that. They always do that. Black Widow,
they did that
out this week. So, but yeah, I think he's got way more potential than they give him. Just me, whatever. But we're moving on to show and tell. Raise your hand if you got show and tell. let's start. Let's do this alphabetically. Let's start with Brooks. Brooks, show and tell, you're up, buddy.
All right. Well, there you go. Show what's on my Peanuts figures. And Charlie Brown and Linus here. Even these guys. And the cool thing about this series of figures is they came with like little props. So like here's the wall that they would always talk at.
That's cool. You got the blanket? Does Linus have a blanket?
I think he came with one. Yeah, he did come with one, but I think I lost it.
Gotcha.
And you got the psychiatrist booth with Lucy.
Very cool.
Nice.
Yeah, Schroeder here with his piano.
Do 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 do.
Bust of Beethoven.
I love it. You open that up and you go into the Charlie Brown cave, the Snoopy cave.
Of course, I got Sally here
Nice.
making her blah face. And my favorite, Peppermint Patty.
Nice.
And I have a question for y'all. Who that dipping in the Cadillac?
Who that?
Snoop Dogg.
I didn't know where we were going with that. Who that dipping in the Cadillac?
Snoop Dogg.
Who got a girl laying on the back?
Snoop Dogg.
Paper stack.
Snoop Dogg.
House. You can.
Nice.
It came with one stock too, but I think I've lost that in the shuffle. He was so tiny, like he was bound to get lost.
I think it would be, Brooks, I know you're a big Peanuts fan. I think it would be beneficial if me and you did an in-studio review, holiday themed for all three of Halloween, Thanksgiving, and Charlie Brown, Christmas. All fucking three. Christmas, Thanksgiving, Halloween, Charlie Brown. What do you think?
Well, you want to do like the 2 Christmas specials together?
Yeah. What do you think? Sound good?
Yeah, man.
Yeah, sounds good to me. Shit, maybe we can do the election day one too.
Oh yeah, you're not elected, Charlie Brown? Yeah.
Yeah, why not? Hey, Jay Strick, show and tell, you're up. What's up, my man?
Hey, Jay Strick. Who's that snooping in the Cadillac?
Jay Strick.
All right, sticking with the movie review. Bill and Ted, #1. Go to hell.
Nice.
I have not read this. I'm assuming it's based off maybe more of that original script of them actually going to hell. I don't know.
I know. I have it in the omnibus form, but I haven't. Well, the omnibus paperback. I'm sorry.
I showed this off back screen, but I don't think Brooks was there. I got the absolute for Killing Joke. So here's the sleeve it comes in. And
Nice.
then, oh God.
They're so big.
I know it really is gorgeous. And so it comes with the newer story with the different coloring that we were talking about the other week. You see that there? But then after that, it has the OG story with the original coloring. I don't know if you're going to be, yeah, here we go.
See, I love that about that. I got to get it now.
Yeah.
That's the definitive version to get.
It is.
Because it's both.
And then you got in the back you got his original script for it. So it's
Dope.
cool. Really cool stuff. I'm gonna reread that because I was wanting to reread it anyways with 3 Jokers coming up. One more thing, Robbie.
I'll deem if it's worthy of full screen.
Well, to get full effect, it's morphin' time. Press it on!
Why'd you scream it out so we couldn't really hear it? Put another coin in there. What happened? Nice.
And you switch the coins out. Got Triceratops here.
That sounded heavy.
It is. They're like metal die-cast.
It's cool that it knows
Yeah, it
what's
is really
in
cool.
there.
And it changes to that color too. That's what's cool about it.
Nice. Can you give me a Red Ranger?
Yeah.
Yeah, because it comes with that cool bass too, doesn't it?
Oh shit. Yep.
And look who's here. It's John Holshoe.
Holy shit, you're right.
Oh, that's not the Red Ranger. That's clean though, pterodactyl maybe.
Yeah, it's nice, man. I like that.
All right, you're up.
Yeah, we
All
got
right.
John in here. He says, I'm working tonight, but want to swing by and say hello to you awesome people. Well, hello to you, John. We're excited to hang out with you tomorrow. Was that the Kinko's manager?
Yeah. She was like, what's happening?
What's his nickname for me? Tyrannosaurus.
I'm
All
morphing,
right.
I'm morphing, babe.
Yeah, leave me alone. I'm morphing in here, Mom and Dad. Don't open the door. I'm practicing guitar. Rockin' Robbie, I'm up for show and tell. Okay, first of all, here's the Dino Charge Black that I opened up the other night. So I got it kind of posed with the little effect or whatever. So that's pretty cool, right?
Very cool.
The gun just fell out of there. Getting ready for Horror Fest. I got this Halloween 2018. I haven't watched this yet, but we're going to cover it for Horror Fest. So I picked that up.
Yeah, man.
I got this great licorice that I'm really excited to try. I love my fruit twists. This one is grape themed.
That is the weirdest stretch of the night. You just showed off licorice on the tree.
Got these from Liana Kangas. It's a sticker and a little thing that looks like it's going to connect with another image. I don't know what they are, but I think they're pretty freaking cool.
That's from her Kickstarter, dude. Come on.
It's from her Patreon. I got this Wizard issue recently. It's focused on the
Oh man, is that first edition?
Grant Morris. Yeah, still in the packaging. Look at that.
Wow, it's never been
Yeah.
touched.
Well, it's actually, yeah, it has actually. It's been bagged and boarded. Look at that. So this one
It
covers,
came like that.
let's see, JLA by Grant Morrison, Iron Man, Green Lantern, Eric Larson, The Kubert School, and 8 Ball. Oh, hell yeah. June 1998 issue. That's pretty dope. Last Man Standing. Who would win between Daredevil and Batman? Oh, we all know that's Batman. Come on. What else I got? I got some comic books I got this week. I got Micronauts #1.
Nice.
Very excited for that. I also bought this one this week. Giant Size Fantastic Four. Giant Size Fantastic Four #4. First appearance of Multiple Man, actually. Brooks?
Yeah, I saw that Wednesday.
Yeah. Pretty dope. And I got to give a big shout out to my homie Chris Palk because he had one. And I was like, I don't want to spend a lot of money on it. He intentionally went out and found the lowest grade possible that he could find to give me this at a really, really good price. So shout out to him. What else we got? We got my Batmobile from Superpowers line with my Batman and Robin figure inside of it.
Nice.
Everything still works perfectly. The headlights, you see, the battering ram, and the little clincher things in the back, all still works. It's all in pieces. I mean, perfect. I love it.
First edition?
Yes, sir. The other thing is, here's my tour. If anybody wanted to doubt my Power Ranger fandom, there's my tour, the Shuttle Zord. It's a little dusty.
Did you dig that one out this weekend?
What'd you say?
Did you dig that one out this weekend?
No, it's always been right there, but it was usually had the keyboard on top of it. But I moved the keyboard into the living room, so now I've actually come up with some new ideas for songs.
Oh man, if you need a little bass, I can slap a little bass.
I slap a little bass, man. I got a new shirt ready for Horror Fest coming up. Every time we have a Horror Fest, I got to have a new shirt. So there's my new shirt right there. It's a Pinhead shirt. Famous Monsters of Filmland.
Oh, that's cool.
Look at that.
Wow, that's gnarly.
Yeah, I'm very excited. We're not even covering Hellraiser this year.
Yeah, I was going to say.
But next year we are. And the final thing I want to say is there's my super cool Bill and Ted Most Excellent Collection Blu-ray set.
Oh, that's way cooler than mine.
Yeah, it has both movies with really cool cover art, right? And then it's got a lot of extra features that are really, really cool and badass. And it came with this, which is the most gnarly thing. It came with a Wild Stallions guitar pick.
Oh my gosh. I need that for no reason.
Wild
Oh, you have a shirt too?
Yeah, bro. I've been wearing it this whole night. I wore it last week too. I wore it when I interviewed Chris Matheson, co-creator of the franchise and co-writer. You know that he was on the show recently.
No. It's the first time I'm hearing it.
Yeah, I did.
Oh.
Anyway, that's show and tell. Hope you all enjoyed. And there's a Castle Grayskull. And I do got to give a big shout out to Pablo, who's just been chilling here the whole time. All right, we're wrapping up then.
Oh
Jay Strick, final thoughts. What's up?
Final thoughts. Check on the homies. Make sure everyone's good. Freaking King T'Challa forever, dude. I'm still in shock over all that. That is really, really. Oh my gosh, Mike has the same shirt as you.
Weird stretch.
Shout out to Mike for hooking me up, finding all these Power Ranger toys I've been showing off. This Morpher I showed off is one I've been wanting to have since I was a kid. So finally got it. And dude, be excellent to each other.
Brooks, final thoughts.
Thoughts and prayers go out to the Bozeman family, obviously, and Station.
Oh, that's a good one. I like that a lot. Yeah, 100%. Just reverberating off what y'all said. And check to make sure your friends are good. Reach out to your friends, make sure that they know that you're good. And sucks about Chadwick Boseman. That's something that we're gonna have to deal with now. But like, it does suck, and it sucks. And yeah, be excellent to each other. Party on. Keep it up. And Black Lives Matter. We're out dipping. Thanks for rocking with us.